Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we're gonna take you to a gay bar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we were talking about how Firelord is apparently third-wheeling with Hercules and Thor here. This is Thor side by side with Hercules and Firelord.
And Firelord.
So we're allying with Firelord. We think Firelord is just too stupid to realize that he's on a gay date.
Yeah.
Like, look, this is what Herc and Thor do. This is like their jam. Fighting weird green monsters.
That's date night for them.
Is date night material. First they get the blood going, and then once they're covered,
having a fun time, man.
Once they're covered in whatever viscera comes from the monsters that they kill.
I love the phrase "viscera" is lube. Great.
Oh no!
Here is Odin.
Stop.
Oh, right, we have to figure out what's up with this issue. Oh, wait, right, we have to tell you what happened last time on Thor.
Yeah, tell me that, bitch.
Hercules was there.
We got Firelord out of order, and he almost he attacked a hospital.
Okay, no, I remember at least some of that. Okay, so there was this mad scientist motherfucker, and he was like, I'm gonna make the Destroyer happen again.
Uh-huh.
So he did.
Although he didn't know what it was.
No. But one of his colleagues, like after he fully Frankenstein put the thing up to get hit by fucking lightning, he was like, hey, this isn't cool. Don't do this.
Yeah, this isn't going to get a paper. We're not getting a paper out of this, my guy.
So then he kept doing it, and then he became the Destroyer. And the Destroyer, the last thing the Destroyer was doing, if you all recall, which I don't, was fighting Thor. And so he was like, okay, well, that was my last mission. I'm going to go fight Thor some more.
And so he went to fight Thor.
Yeah, so he just, fought every blonde man in the city until he finally found Thor.
No, until he found Hercules.
Hercules.
Oh, yeah.
Hercules.
Because Thor was still at the hospital.
Yes. Why was Thor at the hospital?
Because Krista caught dumbass bitchitis. I don't fucking know.
And
she
because...
she lost the will to live.
But hey, good news. It doesn't matter if Thor's human alter ego has been missing for months or
that good,
years.
Baby.
He's
just that good.
They'll just let him have surgical rights.
And an office.
And an office. Like that.
Yeah, they had to kick someone out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't matter. Donald Blake is just that good and that important that
Dr. House Who.
that they will let him do anything he wants in any hospital. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so then somehow Thor ended up on that, and then he was just like, hey, Hercules, go find go find the Destroyer's host. Go figure that out. But then he did.
He did.
Somehow.
Off screen.
Off screen.
We don't know how he did it.
We don't know. Yes. Hercules was able to find the person the soul inside the Destroyer belonged to.
One single unconscious man in New York City.
In a city of 8.5 million.
And the thing of it is, the soul inside the suit didn't have to be in New York City.
No, it did not.
It didn't have to be
on
Earth.
No, there's no range limit.
It could have been... That person's body could have been in any of all the realms.
So then they just walked off into the sunset having a gay old time.
After they defeated the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Firelord's dumbass was like, I'm going to walk into a hospital with my on-fire ass.
In an area filled with stored oxygen, and it'll be great.
And so that was not going to be allowed to stand. He got kicked out of the hospital.
He got kicked through a wall.
He got kicked out of the hospital, as I was saying.
And then he first got told to leave, and then he got physically ejected.
He was removed from the premises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they fought him for a while until Firelord's dumbass was like, Galactus is coming! I was like, oh... Okay, cool. Everybody loves Galactus. I'm sure Dad's going to be really happy about this one.
Oh, yeah.
And so then Galactus gave him a lift in his space car. No, they went out there without the space car. They didn't need the space car.
No. Why?
Because Galactus wanted to have a talkie. He wanted to have a sit-down talkie.
Yeah.
So they headed up to talk, And so they ended up there, and it was like, okay, oh shit, Ego is in a crabby mood and is causing problems. So we gotta go deal with that, because Ego is causing problem with all of Galactus's snacksies.
Yep.
I feel like at this point we've lost the plot on what Galactus is good at. Like, I don't know, fireside chats with Galactus just don't have the same ring to Galactus, the planet eater, is here to nom nom on the planet Earth, and we have to stop him.
And there is no reasoning with him. He is a force of nature.
Yeah, whereas
Ego's
actually
being
no.
annoying.
Actually,
I want you to fix him for me.
come on, I need help fighting Ego. I'm not that strong. I'm just like a guy. I don't do that much. I'm not that strong.
I'm not that big. I'm just a little guy.
I need like a machine to eat planets. It doesn't just happen.
Wah, wah, wah.
God, we really have Flanderized motherfucking Galactus, huh? And I mean, we didn't do it.
We did not.
They did it. Jerry. And not just Jerry.
Stan did it first, and Stan created Galactus.
Yes. Stan did it. Jerry's just following along.
So I think that's what happened last time on Thor. Did I miss anything?
No.
Oh wait, they arrived at Ego.
And
Yeah.
yes, unfortunately, they are back in space.
You didn't miss anything important.
They made the mistake of returning to space.
We left space for like one episode. Did you guys enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
we
love
left
to
space
be.
for 2 episodes, actually.
Okay.
We left space for 3 episodes, actually. We left space, or we're not counting Olympus's space, right? So we left that. We left space for a while.
I
That's real.
loved being away from space.
I was so happy to not be in space, and now I'm in fucking space again.
Oh no, it's fucked up.
You know when it's funny when the X-Men talk about how amazing space is. All I think of is space is dumb. Space is filled with dumb things like Galactus and Ego, and space is just dumb.
And other Galactus, and
And-
other Galactus,
and
and,
the-
other Galactus.
And the Galactus we have at home, and the other Galactus we have at home, and the other Galactus we have at home.
And a series of Death Stars.
Yes.
5 Death Stars
dumb.
orbiting
5
an actual
million Death
star.
Stars orbiting.
Like, space is dumb. How are you guys amazed at the odd majesty of this dumbness?
Because it's cool.
No.
It's cool as long as Thor isn't there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Thor
Somehow
is in space.
Somehow Thor makes space dumb.
And then I throw fruit. Get back on Earth, motherfucker! You're an Earth god! Go help the fucking Earthlings!
Yeah.
The Earth needs help too, my guy.
So, let's check up on space.
Oh boy, what's the state of space? I sure hope nothing's happened since we've been there last.
Last week.
You know, if we're lucky, we'll see, for some reason, Silas Grant.
No,
we
he never
won't.
returns again. We've
Never.
been over this.
Oh.
We're gonna read Thor number 227 from June of 1974. Written by Jerry Conway, pencils by Rich Buckler, inked by Joe Sinnott, colored by Petra Scatezzi, letter by John Costanza, and cover by John Romita Sr.
Rich Buckler was a hometown boy from Detroit. That's a real fun fact. I'm sure that's a really good fun fact. I did a really good job with that one because I definitely looked it up ahead of time.
Yes.
Rip it, baby. We're opening our drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I used to care so much about all these little sounds and shit, and now it's just like, well, I'm doing this for fun, so if I want to open a beer can or clink some ice, I'm gonna good and goddamn well do it.
Guys, one of the biggest Star Trek podcasts absolutely does that.
Every podcast I listen to has weird random noises.
Okay, good. I feel better about that then. I guess I'm just really self-conscious.
One of
and
the
anal.
premier history of England podcasts is recorded in a shed on the worst microphones you'll ever hear.
One of my favorite disaster podcasts was recorded on a fucking iPhone.
So yeah.
I mean, I stole the phrase grip it and rip it from fucking Mabim Bam.
So yeah, these are just the sounds of pod.
The sounds of not quite silence, because nobody can really get the noise reduction completely right.
I think it
That's
adds...
away.
It adds to the feel of just having a conversation with your friends.
But-
Yeah, this is mostly what we're doing. We're just fucking chilling. When we finish this, we go and we watch Iron Man and make fun of it.
Yes, the Iron Man cartoon from like 15 years ago.
Oh my god, it's so underrated.
It's really good, actually. Iron Man Armored Adventures.
Don't let anyone...
It seems dumb because they're teenagers, but it's really good, actually.
Because it
The
turns out...
characterization is so on...
Except for
So
Pepper.
on point. Except Pepper. Pepper sucks.
Pepper's fucking insane cop fangirl. It's weird.
It's really weird.
But Tony's, like, perfect.
Tony's perfect. Rhodey's perfect.
And,
Happy is there.
And the fact
Sometimes.
that...
But he's a delight.
But the fact that Tony and Rhodey are teenagers, turns out that's their
works really
relationship.
well, actually.
It does.
Because Tony acts like a teenager half the time anyway.
We were just watching an episode where Tony was acting like a teenager. This is really exciting Comicsplaining recaps of episodes of Iron Man Armored Adventures.
Well, it's more exciting
Than whatever's going on with Thor right now.
Kind of, yeah. So...
I don't know. I've seen enough internet to know where this is going.
No, those aren't tentacles.
Fair enough. They seem pretty... Okay. Whatever. I'll just drop it. I'm saying Thor's having some problems with them.
He is.
I mean, so is Fire-Lord.
Hercules is doing surprisingly just fine.
Yeah.
Maybe
He doesn't
used
even
to
have
this.
a weapon.
Well,
He's just fucking hitting
It's
them.
because he's used to wrestling in the
Ah,
Greco-Roman
in
way.
the
look,
Greco-Roman
he's Greek.
tradition.
He's Greek. Look, at least let him get oiled up first.
Right.
As
Well,
is his
hey,
nature.
maybe he took a
Hey.
dip in the mud first.
How do we know he didn't?
That's true.
He might have done it on Galactus'
You know,
ship.
we gotta find out.
No,
Okay.
it's just that Joe Romita Sr. didn't give him enough oil on his
Yeah,
skin.
we need more shine. We need some shine on, like, every individual peck.
Okay, well, this issue opens with
There are
Odin.
two
In a new
pecks.
fit.
I meant the six-pack. There are two pecks.
There are two
You
men.
know, every peck.
Everyone. Every of the two ones. So we open with Odin pondering at why his son Thor has allied with Galactus.
Yeah,
Wondering
that's,
at why he's spitting out this cube.
it is a good question. Why is
Well, I guess he only just tuned into the Thor channel,
He was watching the game again.
because otherwise he would know what's going on. But as we've discussed, he definitely does the dad watching TV thing, where he insists on changing the channel during commercials. So yeah, he's sitting in front of the royal flat screen, watching his Thor and friends flying through space. You might remember at the end of the last issue, they arrived in the atmosphere of the living planet already, but I guess we're retconning that, because now they have only just arrived in orbit.
Looking pretty good.
that is some art.
Great job, Rich. Doing a great job.
Hometown boy.
There's a lot of flowery dialogue on this page that's really pointless. Galactus asks if the gods will stand with him against Ego, which I feel is a foregone conclusion now that you've dragged them all the way out here, but whatever.
No, they're just gonna watch on the sidelines while Gal takes on Ego.
Excuse me.
Galactus is like, he might be stronger than all of us together, and Hercules is like, you think he's stronger than me? And yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he said, buddy.
Yep. Thor says that they will fight by his side, and Odin has a rage fit over Thor siding with Galactus, just before Gal reiterates the fact that Ego is evil now. Side note, they're saying that Ego is insane and mad in, like, the classical fantasy way, where you don't want to come up with an actual reason why someone is acting irrationally, so you just say they're generically crazy.
This is, y'all gonna make me act a fool.
I don't like to perpetuate this because I find it to be A, ableist, and B, lazy. So I'm just going to say he's turned evil because that is the gist of what they're actually trying to say.
Probably radiation.
Probably radiation. I mean, we can have debates all day about the nature of good and evil, but for something this old, I'm at least somewhat willing to roll with that.
Yes, let's debate about the nature of good and evil, about Ego, the living
It's
planet.
radiation, baby.
I'm sure it's really deep.
No, it's because Tananile popped one of his pimples.
Again?
No, just the last time.
Just the
Still
one
from
time.
the last time.
Are you sure she didn't go back for a second time?
Well, I mean, I guess we don't know.
When
She's
did
not
she
with
have
us
the
anymore.
time to do that?
We haven't seen her lately. Who knows?
Maybe the whole Rigelian fleet went over.
Maybe
grab some more
maybe
pimples.
going to find other people is like a second resort.
Or maybe she's gotten into pimple popping, and
Oh,
it's
God.
just one of those
Hate,
things.
die,
Canonical
hate, die, hate, die, hate, die.
Colonialist pimple popper.
Anyway, Odin sees that they've only joined
Good.
Odin sees that they've only joined forces with Galactus
I think she got that face infected. She
To
needed
take-
to like wash her hands
to
first.
take down Ego. Ego looks different from how he used to.
Tana, did you wash your hands after you popped that pimple?
I don't think she did. I don't think she exercised proper care. She's probably just one of those people who does it. She's not like Dr. Pimple Popper. She's not trained.
So, Odin's anger is soothed, but he still has questions, so he keeps watching. Hercules asks Thor if he can really trust Galactus, to which Thor explains that he has heard Gal's backstory and thus understands him on a deep emotional level.
What?
Which is funny because the backstory we heard was a complete nothing burger that will be utterly retconned later. The Thunder God finds Gal to be bitter and lonely, which I guess means that he's trustworthy for some reason.
He doesn't mean ill. He's just hungry.
Odin considers...
Hangry.
I mean, I'm not saying he's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Well, what do you want? He's hangry all of the time. What do you expect?
Odin considers talking to Thor about this for a moment before their ship is suddenly attacked.
For deciding no. Actually, it's the kids who are wrong.
Heimdall's eyes, they are attacked. We haven't really used Heimdall's eyes
They
for a
keep
while.
using this as like an expletive, but then don't do anything with Heimdall's eyes.
Wow,
It's ridiculous.
Heimdall's eyes. It's like they're making fun of Heimdall. It's like,
Right.
wow, by Heimdall's eyes.
They get set on the spin cycle for a few minutes before Gal's washing machine crashes onto the surface of Ego.
This is why you need to balance your load.
This is why you need to buckle up for safety.
Gal is like, see, look how powerful he is and how mean and violent. If
Wow.
we don't deal with him, he will destroy the universe.
Wow.
Wah, wah.
Look at what a bad driver I am. This is Ego's fault. It has nothing to do with me.
And Firelord is being his hype man, of course.
Yeah, that's his
But that's
job.
his job.
That is his job. I know. That's why I said of course. So the three normal-sized men start to disembark as Thor and Firelord exchange apologies for their misunderstanding back on Earth.
Don't apologize to Firelord.
Well, he's a good boy, so...
Is he?
He is.
Thor is.
No, Thor is.
Oh, Firelord doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't, but Thor's a good boy.
Firelord's not a bad boy. He's just like too stupid. He's beyond morality.
Thor is more forgiving than we are. As soon as Thor exits the ship, they are all attacked by a large green man with slug eyes.
What the fuck?
Hey, good looking.
So Ego keeps saying that he hates humanoids, but the monsters that he keeps making to attack people are always humanoids.
Something psychoanalysis.
But they also say at some point that Galactus isn't a humanoid, which leads me to believe that Jerry
False.
just doesn't know what that
Entirely
means.
untrue.
Y'all don't.
Incorrect.
Yeah, y'all don't know what that word means. You keep on using it. It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Also, the green man has shorts in the first panel and then loses them when Thor punches him.
He hit him so hard he knocked his pants off.
It happens.
There
It doesn't?
Yeah, apparently. There are a few other green men, and our heroes make short work of them.
This is quite a pose from Firelord.
Like, really short.
Yeah.
So short that it's not even worth going
is that
into detail on.
Did he just like swing it around, but like also limbo under the step? Okay, take him back. That's sick as hell.
But you know what? These guys aren't nearly as gloopy as the green men on the cover,
No.
which is sad.
We'll see.
Hello, can you go? Hello, can you go?
Yeah, they make short work of them. It's not worth going into detail on, even if I gave a shit about these green men, which I do not. Odin is still watching all this, by the by, which has no effect on anything going on, but he is giving color commentary like the world's worst sports announcer.
I mean, it fits, right? We've established he's changing a way to watch the game on commercial breaks, so like he's just in the zone.
Thor decides to go back into the ship and climb a ladder to a hatch, whereupon he stands on top of the washing machine and looks around to see if more monsters are coming. When he sees none, he decides that they'll go outside again. And I think this is silly, because,
Could he not have flown there?
well, that, and also, like, he's just gonna make like, he's making these monsters out of his body, so he's just gonna keep doing that.
All right, but what are you gonna do? Stay put? Is the washing machine still mobile?
No, it's crashed.
Well, yeah, it's crashed, but that doesn't mean it's not mobile. Maybe it just crashed and he can get it back up and going again.
Just get it upright, rebalance the load, start it back up.
The Odinson decides that if they are to defeat Ego, they have to find his mind.
I mean, you don't know he's not driving like a fucking Lada.
He doesn't know where that would be, and is disturbed by the idea of destroying such a thing, as Ego used to be a decent dude. Firelord doesn't understand this because he's dumb. While Odin thinks that Firelord might not be human after all.
Firelord! Firelord is evil, actually.
No, Firelord is not human.
True.
Galactus has to stay behind to fix the ship, which is great because that means Rich doesn't have to try to fit him in the panels.
Yeah, they aren't bringing their heavy.
They're doing some strange things. I'm not loving Rich's contribution.
Yeah, this art is,
It's art.
There are some things happening with perspective on Thor's face, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He has that caveman brow.
This is kind of cool, though, the below shot on that. It feels wrong, but cool.
They are very shape.
Thor then decides to fly off on his own, leaving the other two behind, which seems kind of rude.
I thought that it was these three against the world, right? Now Thor's going off on his own?
Exactly. I mean, Firelord could fly too, so it's really just Hercules that's having a problem here.
That's why he's the damsel in distress most of the time.
Finally, Odin decides that he's seen enough and understands the situation. He has also decided that he's not going to help, which, fair enough, Thor didn't ask. Sif is upset by this, begging her liege to reconsider, but he characteristically refuses, stating that Thor's intention is clear. Sif asks what Odin will do if Thor dies due to his inaction, to which the Allfather responds that he will mourn his son and seek vengeance by killing Ego.
Wow, it's so sad that Thor died. There was nothing we could have done to avoid this situation.
Nothing could have been done. Only vengeance. Only vengeance is permitted.
Sif does not like that answer, correctly pointing out that revenge won't bring dead people back to life, and once more asking him to do something before that happens. Odin wields his position as a cudgel, ordering her to shut the fuck up before he goes out on a horsey ride.
The Rainbow Bridge is looking sicker than usual, though.
Yeah, usually it's not actually a rainbow.
Yeah, so for
looks
once,
pretty good here.
it's a rainbow bridge, even if it stops being a rainbow after a certain point.
Yeah, it does kind of, we get lazy.
Yeah.
Why is blue the dominant color?
It turns green after being a rainbow for a while.
And then turns blue.
Yeah, and it just blew off into the distance.
Is this motherfucker holding on to the back of Odin's... What's going on with this motherfucker?
I don't know. Does it matter?
A little bit.
Not really, but I'm curious.
Sif whines to Hildegard for a minute, and while Hildy is sympathetic, she also has her own concerns to attend to. She slips off to Odin's crystal ball, summoning the image of Krista, still recuperating on Earth. Some other doctors are attending to her, so maybe Dawn left some kind of care orders before they left.
Assumedly.
It did take exactly 100 hours for Galactus to arrive, which is plenty of time for him to actually talk to someone instead of being an enigmatic piece of shit.
But it doesn't matter if he's enigmatic. He gets all these rights. People let him do anything he wants.
Because he's amazing. Speaking of which, the Thunder God is suddenly punched and grabbed in midair as a manifestation of ego surges up from the ground. Unlike the previous monsters, which had only been mindless creations, this one is actually a part of ego, connected to him and directly propelled by his mind.
Haven't we done this before?
Yes.
Another part of ego, huh?
Are we going to meet another Silas Grant because of this?
Still held in the giant's grip.
Tannenile pops an even smaller zip.
Thor first assaults him with lightning, and then summons winds which, according to Firelord, create an earthquake somehow.
Yes.
You know how wind does that.
Yes,
It's working,
wind.
Thor. Your winds have created an earthquake. The lightning has fired the molten soil around him.
I think Firelord just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Firelord, you're just saying
I
random
think we're just
things.
watching this through the filter of a moron.
Yeah.
I suddenly wish we had an Odin narrating, because at least Odin, who is an asshole, knows what's happening.
I think he must have hit him with the wind so hard the earth broke.
So the giant ego pimple crumbles into dirt, revealing a passageway down into the living planet.
Oh, so it's a blackhead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They decide to venture into this hole, which turns out to be quite a long tunnel with a steep downward slope. The further they go, the colder and more oppressive it gets, to the point where their
Not
breath is leaving trails of
That's
vapor.
usually
not the way
how
that
planets work.
That's what Hercules says.
Well, he would... Holy shit, he would know, because, Greek mythology. The inside of the world is hot.
Hercules is just about to say how fucking crazy this all is, when they suddenly stumble into a chamber containing a giant floating brain.
Eggs.
Ah!
It's an egg pod.
It's a
Egg
brain.
sack.
Egg brain.
Doesn't look like a brain. Fuck that. Looks like fat. Just looks like fat cells.
That's what a brain is.
That's true. Brains are really fatty.
Yum.
They are astounded and horrified by this sight until
Troubling.
Ego's voice seems to resonate from the very walls. When I was reading this, I was like, if this was a modern comic, this would actually be, like, really visceral.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, we would be seeing so much flesh.
Oh,
yeah. It'd be gross. It'd be really icky to look at.
Like it'd be a Venom. It'd be an issue of Venom.
Yeah, basically. So Ego's voice seems to resonate from the very walls, declaring that they have penetrated him.
Oh, I see. So this is the one where Hercules, Thor, and Firelord penetrate Ego.
Yep.
That is, 18 plus.
Y'all might have the Hellfire Club beat.
And they will now be tormented as he has been tormented. But first he will separate them so that they are alone as he has been alone. And monsters form from the ground to attack them.
And you might not be alone if you weren't so much of a dick.
But as that hasn't gone particularly well before, it continues to be ineffective. I think, arguably, this group of absolute idiots is far more comfortable fighting off an army of weird green men than dealing with abstractions like the brain of a planet.
Yeah.
They don't really need to care.
Well, no one ever said Ego was smart either.
Firelord and Hercules hold off the mob, long enough for Thor to take down the force field around the brain, and then he throws his hammer at it, causing it to explode.
Rip Ego, I guess? I don't...
He'll be back.
Ego will return in Avengers Infinity War. So what do you guys think of this issue?
I don't even...
3 stars it was and comic?
It is and comic.
It's very comic, but
Yeah, 3 stars.
Really? That high?
It was and comic. It was not like a bad comic. It was just...
It wasn't incoherent.
It wasn't bad, it just didn't matter or make sense. It was kind of Silver Agey, but it wasn't bad by a Silver Agey standpoint.
Right.
3 stars.
I don't know, I'm getting spoiled by the fucking...
That's why it's a good thing we're
Dark
doing Thor
Phoenix.
first
It's
on
a
this episode.
very, very good thing we're
Because
doing
this is
Thor
our
first.
season finale, in case you've forgotten.
Yes!
Like, we have
didn't actually announce that,
We did not, no.
We have the Dark Phoenix on the other side of this. And
Yeah.
So much as seasons matter anymore, but it
Yeah.
means that we get to make superlatives, so now seasons do matter.
And I just... This is just... too... Can't be kind to this thing.
I think that's fair.
Guess I'm nice. Too nice.
We've
Oh, Dormammu is the Marvel value stamp for this issue.
Oh shit, I wish I had a Dormammu value stamp. We could put him up there, like, between them on the wall. Just want, like, a big life size.
Life-size Dormammu stamp.
What the heck is this? The birth and death of Ego, the living planet. What Phoenix Saga ass bullshit is this?
Well, this is Thor number 228, obviously, from July of 1974. Written by Jerry Conway. Penciled by Rich Buckler, Arvil Jones, and Keith Pollard.
I think we've had all those guys.
Inked by Joe Sinnott. Colored by Stan Goldberg. Lettered by John Costanza. And the cover is by Rich Buckler and Frank Giacoya.
Is this a special issue? Is this like
No.
So this is just who they could find to finish the
Somebody
issue.
fucked it up.
Yep.
Well, look, there's only two reasons you have that many names on a comic. Either it's a special issue that you're doing something big for.
Or somebody fucked it up.
Yeah, and since this isn't a big special issue...
I mean, it's 228. It's not going to be a big
Ooh,
special issue.
really special, a double-sized 228.
Right?
I don't know, maybe you're building up to a story and this is how you end it?
Yeah, because all the build-up of this has felt really promising.
So we picked this one up a few minutes before the end of the last issue, where... This isn't important. Where Fire...
Apart from that fucking face.
Yeah. Where Firelord and Hercules stand battling Ego's homunculi.
What's with Firelord's dance moves?
I don't know.
I mean, like, that tracks. He's been making some pretty... Did we forget that whole
Well, he's got
limbo underneath the spinning staff?
Well, he's got his baton, so, he's just a baton twirler.
He was,
God.
he's
in the color guard.
Exactly. Maybe he was human and he was color guard.
He was in band.
Or he could have been in space color guard. What do I know?
He was in space band.
It's their job to hold the monsters off while Thor attacks the planet's brain, which they do with ease until suddenly the constructs dissolve back into the earth from whence they came. Hercules celebrates, but Firelord wonders if this means that Thor has succeeded somehow. Further into the tunnels, we see Thor catching Mjolnir after striking Ego's mind. He has penetrated the brain.
Ego's brain has been penetrated by Mjolnir's mystic might.
I don't know why we keep using this word.
I mean, there's a reason we keep on using this word.
No, why does Jerry keep using this word?
I don't know. Why are we... no, because that doesn't make sense, because it doesn't... Nothing about this feels like a sex thing, other than the use of the word penetrated over
No, it doesn't. And
again.
also, how is a hammer penetrating it? That's not what hammers do.
Well,
I mean,
they
if you hit it
can.
hard enough.
I guess.
But it didn't do that because it made it explode. It didn't.
It didn't make it explode, actually.
That's what it looked like.
It is what it looked like, but instead, Ego launches a counter-strike, zapping Thor with a beam.
Oh, fucking beams.
Motherfucking beams.
Motherfucking beams. This beam draws the Asgardian into Ego's own mind.
Which is how
Thor into space.
This is how beams work.
This is how beams work. The god of thunder soars through space to a memory of a planet long dead, settling into the role of Igros, some sort of leader and scientist.
Was Ego a guy?
Thor remains aware of himself while his body carries out the actions of the memory, causing him to relive it with no agency of his own. Igros rises from a momentary dizzy spell with the help of his comrade Chimu.
Sure.
The two then proceed down the path, with Chimu explaining that thanks to him, 95% of their people are already in stasis, with the remaining 5% about to join them within the next half an hour. They ride a couple of flying platforms up to the control center for Project World Core.
They
Okay.
look like fucking pool rafts.
This is an OSHA violation. Massive OSHA violation. This worksite is going to have to be closed.
And so they go up to Project World Core, which is what Igros came up with to save their race from extinction. Essentially,
That's a really generic fucking name.
Well, there's a reason.
Okay.
Essentially, their sun is about to go supernova, so they dug down to the center of the world
Okay.
and are going to place their people in suspended animation until it's safe again.
Because as we know, the center of the world is cold.
And no. Well, Hercules would disagree with you on that.
No, the further and further you go into it, the colder it gets.
Look, Hercules may be a himbo, but he knows how planets work.
No, apparently not.
The text bubble here says that their people will be projected, but I think it meant to say protected, so that's a fun mistake.
Yes, we're going to project them into the sky when the when sun
We're
goes
gonna
supernova.
project them away. It's gonna be like a teleporter.
They enter the command center, where only a few people remain, working to put their fellows to sleep. So few remain because there are now only 40 minutes left before the sun goes nova. He says nova, I thought it meant supernova, but now I'm questioning if there's a difference.
There is.
There is?
There is.
Okay.
Supernova's not really survivable. Something will survive a nova.
Okay. Well, they're saying nova, so...
It's smaller.
Okay. Thor takes this in and understands the tragedy that he's witnessing, while Egros muses that if only his people had pursued space travel long ago, they may not be in this situation. But Chimu comforts him, saying that thinking of what could have or should have been won't help anything. They have done all they can, and now thanks to him, their people will be safe.
We can't spend money on space. We have to fund the military.
The military-industrial complex must be fed.
Slowly, the life support pods are filled, until only Egros and Chimu remain, carrying out the last of the preparations to seal the bunker after they too are in stasis. Chimu starts to make a love confession, just in case anything goes wrong, but Egros cuts him off, claiming that the system cannot fail.
Come on, man. Pull it together.
Guys, once the sun goes nova, there's not going to be much to rebuild up there. There's not going to be a sun, and all you're going to have is the remnant heat of the core, so...
The remnant heat of the core? I hope we don't mean of the planet, because as we know, the core of the planet is cold.
Immediately after he says this, Chimu cries out in fear that the sun is already about to explode several minutes earlier than they had planned.
Then get in the fucking pod!
Get in the goddamn pods!
He runs towards the chute down to the stasis pod, saying that they may still be able to shut the vault manually from the inside. Egros gathers up an armful of random crap. I don't know why he does this. There's no explanation about the importance of these items, and it seems like the last thing he should be doing right now.
It's fine, actually. I swear.
I like how we've got a fucking film canister like y'all.
Right? So he grabs some shit and jumps into the tunnel while shouting about how there won't be enough time.
Correction, that's a film reel. Don't fucking correct me.
Before he's fallen halfway down the tube, it all goes to shit. The sun explodes and he is wrapped in burning radiation, yet he realizes Oh yeah, this page is pretty.
Okay.
Yet he realizes suddenly that he's not dying, but changing, merging with the planet in a reaction fueled by the lives of the rest of his people, and he becomes ego for some reason.
That's not how this works.
So what happened to all the little guys? What happened to all the little guys? Are we gonna find out?
No.
Yum nom nom.
They're dead.
Why would they be dead?
Because of the sun exploding.
Well, right, but they were in the pods.
Yeah, but it didn't get sealed.
And thus, the combination of the Nova, his presence, not Chimu's. Chimu didn't get to become...
Fuck no. Chimu. Chimu doesn't matter.
Yeah, Chimu didn't join with that. Yeah.
No.
No, Chimu did not...
So, we're sitting here talking up fucking egg roast or whatever the fuck. Like, oh yeah,
egg rolls.
Good job, egg rolls. You did a great job. Fucking everybody's in the pods, egg rolls. Yeah, great job. Except egg rolls killed everyone.
And then became ego.
So how long does this stay canon for?
I don't know.
Unclear. I have very little dealing with ego.
Yeah, I don't know much about ego.
Neither do I.
I don't care much about ego, to be frank. Thor falls out of the memory with a newfound understanding for his enemy.
Do we care? But do we care?
Thor does. With understanding comes compassion. However, Firelord and Hercules run up behind him, and he understands what must be done. No amount of compassion will stop Ego from destroying the universe now that he's generically insane.
Because, we didn't cover it, but it's Tananile's fault.
Yeah, it is Tana's fault, that's true. There is no choice to be made, and so the God of Thunder hits Ego's brain with a beam that makes you go ouch.
I think that's most things that hit your brain.
Where did he get this beam?
Actually not true.
His hammer, he shoots it out of his hammer. He does that.
I guess he does.
He does do that.
He does do that. The planet begins to shake and crumble as the three men make their way out of the caverns. Suddenly they are lifted out and up by a tractor beam to Gal's ship, where the World Eater commends them for a job well done. Thor says, however, that the living planet is only stunned and that he doesn't believe anything can truly defeat him.
I think that if you kept beating up that fucking brain, that probably would have done the job.
Yeah, that usually does the trick for most living beings.
You hit their brain enough, and
I mean, considering he has like a singular brain and not like a
distributed
nervous system or anything,
or like I don't know, an injury field that is his consciousness,
right? As
you would expect from a planet who is a person.
So just go back and hit his brain.
Galactus has other ideas, though, because while they were underground, you're never gonna guess this, He attached a huge fucking rocket to the back of the planet and is now sending Ego on the ride of a lifetime, flying across space for the rest of time.
Where did
right,
he
I
get
never would have
this?
guessed that.
Where did he get this?
He had it at home.
What do you mean? He didn't bring this with him in the dishwasher.
That's what he says. He says he went home and got that.
He had time to go home, get a lawnmower engine
Here's
with
the thought. Why didn't
rockets.
you do that in the first place?
I don't know. He needed them to distract him, I guess.
I guess.
He needed them to... Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know how this really solves anything, but they seem to think it does, so whatever.
I doubt we'll see his like again.
Yeah.
Never, sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's worked out. We've never seen Ego again.
Never.
Ego will return.
Ego
In
won't
Avengers.
return in Avengers Infinity War. Ego's gone forever now. Ego's not a problem anymore.
That's true. Galactus then says that he has some empathy for Ego, since they are both villains representing cool shit like entropy and the unknowable vastness of space, who are both ruined by a terrible backstory that turns them into generic store-brand bad guys with a tortured past.
Are they, though?
That's not what he said, but that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, Ego isn't really representing entropy.
I don't know, I think you can make a case
He's got
for
vibes.
something.
He's got vibes.
I mean,
it's largely vibe space. But
Yes, but it's like Galactus is explicitly entropy made manifest as
Not
a
everything
man.
has to be explicit. Sometimes it's just vibes, baby.
Yeah.
And the problem is, they've all been chasing entropy-based villains, and kind of doesn't work.
Suddenly, Firelord wants to put in his 2 weeks' notice.
Wow, look at him. The fucking eyes.
Thor urges Gal to free the idiot, and the World Eater responds that he will, so long as they find a suitable replacement first.
Oh no.
Odin and Sif watch this play out from the throne room on Asgard. The Allfather is amused by the situation and by Thor's solution to it, because the Thunder God has decided that the new Herald is going to be the Destroyer, which they did indeed leave lying around on a dock in New York City.
I can't help but think when Galactus landed in New York City, the Fantastic Four might have had issues about
I'm sorry. I thought the Destroyer didn't have a consciousness, like explicitly didn't have a consciousness.
It's fine.
Yes, that is true. So the gods offer it to Galactus, explaining that it has no mind of its own and will therefore serve him more loyally than any living man ever could.
Cool. Really glad this is a good decision. Great idea. There's no potential downsides to this.
No,
great idea.
Not.
This
Good
could
plan.
never backfire on them.
Gal accepts this because the Destroyer is only a little bit dumber than his last employee. And he imbues it with the power cosmic before declaring that, true to his word, he won't return to menace the Earth. And then he disappears in a beam of light, which is a thing that I didn't know he could do.
Until the next time he does.
And of course, you know that beam of light must have blinded the Lower East Side.
Firelord flies away without a word of thanks, and Hercules wonders if they'll ever see him again.
Yes.
The end.
We have seen him again.
But will they?
Fair.
Yes, they will. Fairly soon.
Firelord will return in Avengers Infinity War.
So what do you guys think of this one?
Better than the last one, but not by much.
I mean, the way this
Still
ended...
3 stars?
This ended like a Stan issue.
The whole thing felt like a Stan issue. The fucking stupid-ass backstory for Ego. Like, I was under the impression...
It was so stupid I liked it, though.
I was under the impression that Ego was always just like, what if, like, life forms just evolve in the vacuum of space?
How it
what is it, a Bozeman brain? The idea that a brain could spawn in the infinite nothing of space?
Right, and I think that's interesting.
But no.
But no, now he's just another guy who fucked up and became a monster, basically.
That's a good argument. I'll dock it a star, 2 stars.
And just, apparently Galactus can just go to New York and no one starts a fight.
Well, he does that all the time he goes to New York. I mean, where do you think he's going to get that Rollie?
Oh, okay. I mean, what?
There's no Rolex on screen. I just fucking said that.
And okay, yes, he's probably also going to the theater district. He's seeing plays. Reed Richards
He's
is
got his
very...
own box. It's a very tall
Yes.
theater.
Well, what can I say? Reed Richards is very unhappy about this, but what can he do?
The
Well,
man,
as long as he's not trying to eat the place.
right, he bought those season tickets fully honestly.
Yeah, he bought those tickets. He bought season tickets to
The opera.
and the Mets.
He's a man of many tastes.
Yeah, he doesn't like he's not a Yankees fan. He's a Mets fan. You gotta take some issues with that. But,
So,
guy likes an underdog.
what do you guys want to bet that the next person who writes a Galactus thing is going to remember that the Destroyer is the Herald
I
now?
was going to say when you said it that I do not recall ever hearing about the Destroyer as a Herald of Galactus, so I'm going to say no.
So is this the most unique Herald of Galactus in the history of Heralds of Galactus?
It's pretty unique. I mean, there is the one who was a girl, and she's the only girl, so that's, unique.
I hate to inform you, but it looks like someone might have known because
Oh my god.
the Destroyer next appears in Fantastic Four number
Yo!
172. So
See, what happened was Reed Richards got word that Galactus had tickets at the opera, and they had beef.
I cannot believe this. Awesome. That is great. You really love to see acknowledgement to the rest of the Marvel Universe, don't you, folks?
Because sometimes things happen in a comic and nobody notices or cares.
I hate when that happens, frankly. Anyway, here at our middle segment, let's hit us up real quick. Tell us down below, because at the end of the episode, we're going to have our season superlatives. Give us your nominees, or who you think should have won, because I'm sure we're all going to come to our consensus at the time, but I want to know what you think. So let us know down in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. You want to send us an email, we're over at comicsplaining@gmail.com. Find us on social media over at Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, theoretically.
yeah.
Also, you want to throw us a few bucks on coffee? We are on coffee. Other than that, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your boss, tell your guidance counselor, tell your doctor.
Tell your religious authority.
Right, confess to your priest that you are listening to the Comicsplaining podcast and you think he'd be into it. Anyway, on to X-Men.
Ready to do our finale.
Yep.
That is a cover.
We've got 3 engorged issues of X-Men to finish us off on the final season.
It's
Engorged.
a good thing that we were pretty short on Thor this week.
Yeah, we've got 3 of them and one of them's double size. So
Ooh.
we're going to see how this goes because the last episode was the end of regular issues of Classic X-Men. So do you want to tell me what happened last time on X-Men?
There were things happening and people were there.
Yeah, true.
They were in the Hellfire Club.
Correct.
They all had gotten captured.
Correct.
Except Wolverine.
Correct.
Who went all Rambo First Blood on everyone.
Yep. And
Yep.
he was killing some guys in the basement.
Yep.
And also terrorizing them in the process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was having fun with it.
Yes.
He was enjoying himself.
He was enjoying the killing that he was definitely doing. He was not
And
playing nice.
while he was doing that, the rest of the X-Men were being held captive, watching Jean be brainwashed.
Yep.
And it was very uncomfortable, but it was meant to be that way.
Boy,
Correct.
yes, it was, yeah.
And then Scott used his psychic link with Jean to go into her brain and try to snap her out of it.
Didn't work.
But then Jason Wingard was there and they were sword fighting.
And Scott died. And,
Scott
Didn't know how to sword fight.
Ah!
But apparently dying in the astral realm doesn't kill you.
Doesn't mean you die in real life.
Yeah.
No.
Which I don't think he was prepared for, because it sure looks like he thought he died.
Yeah.
But
Wingard thought it's aha! I've won!
But it did snap Jean out of it.
Yeah, it turns out the thing she needed to see was Scott dead on the ground.
Which happened to coincide with Wolverine Kool-Aid Manning through the door with several guys hanging off of him.
Yeah. Because he beat up a bunch of waiters.
He did. He climbed up
They
through a
weren't just
dumb waiter.
Look, they
and
weren't
then-
just waiters. These were the beefiest waiters you've ever seen. They were hired for their beef factor.
And
True,
then,
not their serving beef factor.
so Jean unlocked the lock on Scott's BDSM mask,
Yes.
and he was able to
Use it as a projectile?
yeah,
Correct.
and then free everyone else. And then
Yeah, that turned upside down for the Hellfire Club real quick.
yeah, it really did. And then he threw Harry Leland off of the balcony, and then Wolverine.
Things happen to Harry Leland.
Yeah,
Things
Harry
happen.
Leland makes things heavy.
Harry Leland reflexively made Wolverine heavy.
I mean, he doesn't have anything else, to be fair.
Wolverine jumped off the balcony.
It's not like
Wolverine used Harry Leland as
a pincushion.
as a landing platform.
I mean, it wasn't going to go good for him even if he hadn't done that, but
Yeah.
he just made it worse.
He definitely made the situation worse.
Actually, maybe he died quicker.
Maybe.
True.
So, yeah. And then chaos kind of erupted.
Yep.
And
The plan Wolverine set in motion ages ago.
yes.
The lights went out.
The lights went out.
And things were happening.
What happened in the dark?
Oh.
Jean.
Jean found Mastermind and just fucking
Unmastered his mind.
Yes.
Correct.
absolutely destroyed him and tore him to ribbons.
Yes.
Which, like, good.
He is generically crazy now.
He deserved it.
Well,
Yeah.
I doubt he has much left.
He saw Infinity and it was too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's cosmic horror for ya.
Hell yeah.
Like, actually, that is cosmic horror.
Yes.
But, yeah, and then she wasn't doing very good. But they managed to escape
Because the cops were coming.
because the cops were coming, and they went to get in the air car, and they were about to take off, and then Jean was like, I am the Phoenix! And they exploded.
And I could have sworn she started apologizing first.
Well, yeah.
Like she wasn't really
really apologizing, but she did take like a moment to herself to kind of mourn knowing what was coming.
Yeah. And then there were B stories.
Correct.
That did happen.
Right.
One of them was
happened.
Storm.
Correct.
Storm.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess given the number of B stories that involve her.
Storm was walking down the street, and a homeless guy saw her and was like, oh, she's a mutant. She can help me. And then
Because he was also a
because
mutant.
he's also a mutant, and he tried to talk to her, but she was getting, like, catcalled, so she didn't really want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And then he got mad about it, and then a rich guy beat him up. And Storm liked that for some reason.
Weird, but
Very strange. And then she went home, and Logan and Piotr were being absolute frat boys. Making stupid bets.
Which
And
is
Storm
maybe-
was just there.
I mean, to be fair, that's probably the only in-character part of this story.
Yeah.
Storm was just there, and then the homeless guy showed up and exploded the rolls
Yeah. Again.
again, and then he was like, you pick one of these men for me to kill.
You know the guy at the Rolls
Okay,
Royce
eeny,
dealership?
meeny, miny, the immortal one.
Yeah. You know the guy at the Rolls Royce dealership has got a really close personal relationship with Charles. It's like, because he pays for his Christmas bonus every year.
Like the things that happens to the roles, you can't just get that buffed out.
No.
He's gotta be.
You gotta get a new Rolls.
He's gotta be buying
Like I said,
whole new cars.
He's getting his Christmas bonus off of Charles Xavier alone.
And the insurance premiums must be insane.
Do you think
absolutely.
Charles Xavier can get insurance?
I think he has to.
No, he
It
can't.
depends.
He can't. That car is probably not road legal because of that.
Well, I mean, he's a telepath. I don't think it matters.
Well, I think it depends. We don't know the laws of the era and the
We
the place.
I registered it in Scott's name.
Oh, okay. Each time one gets destroyed, he registers the new one in another X-Wing name.
The This is why we keep getting X-Men!
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, if you didn't stop... Hey, look, I could stop getting new X-Men if you stopped destroying my car.
So...
Dude, where's my car? In pieces across the street.
So Storm told the dude to explode Wolverine, and he did. But Wolverine was fine because he's Wolverine.
Yeah.
But he was very upset
But
about it.
he was sad.
Mm-hmm.
He was sad.
Even though he was the obvious choice, because of course he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas,
and we definitely think that he would have understood.
Right. If Wolverine was the one putting the fucking spots, like, if you're gonna hit me or Colossus, he would say, hit me!
he'd
Right.
take the bullet because he'd know he'd get back up and then murder the guy who shot it.
Although, frankly, I'm not sure that Colossus wouldn't have been fine.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's made of metal.
Yeah.
But,
Then again, so is the rolls.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
So yeah, that happened.
Yep, we had another B story.
The other B story.
Was definitely a thing that happened.
Everybody was breakdance fighting.
Oh yeah, Kurt was walking around downtown with a mobile Cerebro.
Oh, he was
trying to
for
find a mutant, and then he saw a breakdancer with one leg. And her friends were in the crowd pickpocketing people, and then he ended up chasing her, not because he wanted to arrest her, but because he thought she was a mutant.
Yep.
And he chased her, like, across town.
Very across town.
Very across
Through the
town.
subway.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then he got accosted by some thugs,
Correct.
and she helped him fight off the thugs, and then they talked, and he was like, I think you're a mutant, and you could join the X-Men and have a family and a place to live. And she's like, but I already have, like, friends and stuff who take care of me, so I don't want that. And he was like, okay, and that was it.
Yeah. He was also being sad about his foster brother's death in the circus.
Yeah.
But that's not really anything we have any context for yet, so
Right.
I don't blame you for not mentioning it.
Ah,
So yeah, as mentioned earlier, the train's in rough shape. Definitely not on the tracks anymore. First up is X-Men 135 from April of 1980, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Bob Sharon, and lettered by Tom Wojciechowski. So yeah, as mentioned earlier, the train's in rough shape.
that is a
That's a cool page.
that is a title page. Oh boy.
I like it.
It's definitely not on the tracks anymore as Jean Grey explodes into the Phoenix above Central Park. Think I'm definitely kind of count this as another plane crash for Scott Summers.
I agree.
Yeah, if your plane explodes in midair, you have been in a plane crash.
I've kind of lost track of how many, but I want to say it's 8.
Kurt says, 9. Not another aircraft destroyed.
Even he knows.
He knows.
He's gotten tired of the aircraft explosions.
Jean then leaves the X-Men to find their own ways to the ground. Or not. You know, there's always the default. Nightcrawler keeps in mind, Speedy Thing goes in, Speedy Thing comes out before deciding it's safe to port down to Earth with an admittedly rough rolling landing.
Piotr just Supermans himself straight into the fucking ground.
It's been a while since he's done that.
Yeah, he's fine, I guess.
It's just funny.
He lands his notorious ground pound attack on Central Park for unknown damage, and Storm is left to manage her less mobile teammates. She seems to be the one with her head most in the game at this moment, and quickly grabs Wolverine by the britches before searching for Cyclops.
She is so strong. That man must be as heavy as a car.
She's probably using some wind to help her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that arm.
The good updraft on Wolverine only.
I don't know. She doesn't skip. I think she doesn't skip arm day.
Well, definitely not. You think Cyclops would let anybody skip arm day? Come on. She then goes searching for Cyclops, and it seems for a moment that Jean might actually catch Scott, despite her whole face-heel turn. But Storm doesn't want to take that chance, and swoops in with Logan so they can barrel a monkeys their way back down to the ground. She even manages to send Dark Phoenix tumbling with a gust of wind, buying them all a moment of time to get their heads in the game.
That's definitely something.
Yeah. It's really only just enough time to get to her feet before Phoenix swoops in for another attack on her formerly beloved friends. And they are like ants before the might of the Phoenix. Piotr rips a tree out of the ground because so far that's been a pretty successful gambit for him.
Yeah, but he
That's true.
unmetals first.
Yeah. No, he doesn't actually unmetal.
Oh, I see.
Phoenix first turns him into flesh Piotr, and then the tree to solid gold, leaving him staggered and then pinned underneath its weight,
Oh my god.
along with a well-intentioned Wolvie who is, like, on his way to help.
Oh, no.
So like, that tree is probably just gonna stay solid gold and whatever.
Turn that
part-
one into firewood, Wolvie. No, that's not gonna stay solid gold in Central Park for very long. Someone's gonna take that.
Yeah. Later on, they make a joke that it's going to solve New York's fiscal crisis. Jean revels in her powers, holding back no more, not on the mind reads nor the attacks, smacking the X-Men down with pretty much nil effort, before finally touching back to Earth like, I had to do it to him. She's got pretty much the same idea Mastermind did earlier. Cut off the links to her past and then she'll be free from it.
Oh boy, thanks, Mastermind.
For a horrified moment, Jane knows full well what she's about to do before the power surges within her once more and she takes to the sky, a lightning storm building and crackling around her. Just outside the park, the NYPD investigation into the attack on the Hellfire Club has commenced, where we learn that fucking somehow Harry Leland is still alive!
Oh my god.
Tubbo is made of sterner stuff than that, I guess.
Okay, impressive.
He's a survivor. Assumedly, most of the guests have fled into the night, leaving only Sebastian Shaw and presidential candidate, Senator Robert Kelly.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, you recognize the name this time. Last time it slid you by. They're standing on the stairs to the club as the police continue with their work like, well, seems like those X-Men aren't going to be any more of a problem for you, Mr. Shaw.
Okay, I just want to go on record that Senator Robert Kelly didn't go over my head. I just thought he was flavor at the moment. now he's
He was
text.
foreshadowing. Seems like those X-Men aren't going to be a problem for you anymore, Mr. Shaw. The mutants aren't in the club. And Kelly's like, yeah, no shit, Shaw. I told you they ran into the fucking park. To which the cop's like, uh-huh. What do you want me to do about that? I'm some rando fucking policeman, not fucking Rambo. And I don't see Stallone anywhere among any of my guys either.
And Kelly's like, what are you talking about? What's Rambo? It's 1980.
And he's like, call the Avengers or kick rocks.
The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, or S.H.I.E.L.D. Yet call the Fantastic Four. They're great at picking up their phone.
Well, he suggests to Kelly that even though they couldn't really use it now, if they only had some Sentinels.
If only. If only.
Sorry, but I actually really love the idea that Shaw is like the beginning of all the problems that mutants have had.
Well,
Maybe
technically
not-
it's Trask.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly the beginning, but he's like...
No.
He's like the blowtorch.
I really love it when...
Chaos Agent.
I wouldn't say Chaos Agent. Capitalist Supreme. The discussion is tabled when the lightning storm begins to build in the park before discharging all of its energy down into it. And the Firebird of the Phoenix erupts into the sky as Jean leaves Earth behind her.
Ah yes, the X-Men will be seen again in Infinity War.
Had been sent to the Nether. It's a move noticed by all.
Uh-huh.
Be it Mr. Fantastic, hard at work in his lab, Spider-Man out on patrol, Doctor Strange just like picking up bad vibes,
Uh-huh.
or the Silver Surfer watching with some concern as this human woman burns out of control, streaking off into space. Phoenix just barely misses Beast, who apparently, despite living 2 blocks away, had to take the Avengers Quinjet. You live in fucking New York, Hank! A little walking's part of the package deal!
He couldn't take the mass transit.
So you can bound your happy blue ass down to the park. He sees the park aflame and decides to set down to scope things out. Because when I think firefighters, I think the blue Wookiee.
Yeah.
It seems like the fire is largely contained to the tree line of the park, They're charring on the ground right between all the X-Men, but seemingly they've all made it out unscathed. Apart from the beatdown they just got hit with.
Right.
Why are they not dead?
Quickly, Hank spirits his friends away into the Quinjet, hauling them back up to the mansion. While back in New Mexico, Warren Worthington listens as Charles and Moira discuss the fucked ratings they've been picking up from New York. And they already both know the cause. Angel and the Professor then set their sights for home. Again, around the sun, Starcore 1 orbits, continuing its research when Dr. Peter Corbeau begins to pick up strange readings.
Oh, wow. We haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he's still there. Just then, the Phoenix tears around it, using it to slingshot herself even more quickly into the cosmos. Hers to do with as she pleases.
With that unhinged look on her face.
Oh, yeah.
She creates a stargate for herself and leaps further into the infinite vastness of space, but finds herself taxed by the effort still. She needs to recharge her batteries. She's fucking hungry. And so she drops by the nearest sun, bathing in its fiery glow and drinking deep. And then the star goes supernova. On the planet Badari, there's a brief moment of fear and panic as the sun suddenly flares brilliantly. That only lasts until the heat flare hits the planet, scouring it clean of everything. Ocean, atmosphere, life. And the Phoenix revels.
That planet will return.
That planet's
in
not
Avengers
returning in Avengers.
No, it will not. Absolutely not.
But this action will have consequences.
Yeah.
On the edge of the star system, a new Shi'ar warship on her maiden voyage watches the star go nova. It doesn't make sense. That was a perfectly healthy star until, now. And so they zoom in on the view screen, and that's when they see the Phoenix streaking away from the wreckage she's wrought, wrapped in celestial ecstasy.
This dude's eye makeup is intense.
It is. You think that as you go up in rank, you get to have
You get more swirls.
fancier eye makeup?
It's appropriate for your high station to include fancy makeup.
You can draw some stars, just make it look like a teenager's trapper keeper.
God.
Clenched with terror, the Shi'ar captain sounds the alert to send the men to their battle stations, bound by duty to avenge their sworn allies, the Badari, to the death.
Well, because, the Badari are dead.
But, even beyond that, bitch just drank a star. What if she gets a taste from? It's like a bear. Once they get a taste for people food, you can't just, have them around anymore. Because then they get a taste for people.
Think it's a little too late for that.
So I guess what I'm saying is Jean is a bear, which is a strange takeaway, but I'll take it.
I think it's a little too late for these guys to stop her. She did just nom nom on a star.
Well, that's why they gotta put her down.
But, again, are they a star?
What are you gonna do with that big bat? Gonna hit me? Better make it count. Better make it hurt. Better kill me in one shot.
Yeah.
The Shi'ar warship opens fire and does not indeed kill her in one shot.
No.
That's what I thought. That's kind of what I expected.
Or even hit her. Before she even knows what the hell they want, they're down to half their warp power. Captain Juber calls back to Imperial Center to give warning to the Empress, but the men fight on. One of her advisors, Arakai, rouses her from her sleep, warning her of the call from the veteran captain, and the pair dash off to the war room, just in time to say Juber's final goodbye, as the celestial Firebird closes in on the ship for the last time, and the Link goes dead.
I would like to get an F in chat.
F.
F. Oh yeah, Lilandra does have a star, doesn't she? You only get that if you're part of the royal family.
Yeah. You gotta be real fancy to get, the star. And a heart?
Oh, God.
She's the Empress. She doesn't even have a heart. You probably have to be, a priest or something. I don't fucking know.
Something like that.
It's very complicated. The rules are deep and intricate.
With growing dread, the Empress sends Arakai to summon her ministers, because something has to be done about this. It's a depressing scene in the X-Mansion. The X-Men stand in the kitchen, watching Scott just sitting there.
They stand in the kitchen except for Kurt and Beast, who are sitting on the counter.
They are.
I can feel the autism.
No one really knows what to do, either for Scott or about the Phoenix. The Beast has a few ideas about some gadgets he might try.
Sure, Gadgets will solve this.
And then Scott sits bolt upright with the grim news that the Phoenix is returning, and she's hungry.
Oh boy.
Oh no, she hungers.
How did you like that?
5?
Agreed?
Yeah, 5. I'm kind of in awe.
I mean, it's kind of pointless to ask right now.
Yeah. What do you think Ciamaro thought?
2.
5.
4.7.
Of course.
And one of my favorite things about this is, and I think the thing that gives it a real special touch, is that breath that we hold while we stop and look at the rest of the Marvel Universe taking notice.
Yeah. Oh, I always love that.
The Fantastic Four noticed this.
Anytime something goes wrong enough that they have to show everyone else reacting to it, I love that.
How much have we seen that up to this point?
Not often. Maybe once or twice.
Maybe once or twice. It really excellently done, and I think that's the moment that absolutely clinches it a 5, even though the rest of it is really good. We're just watching Jean's fucking reign of terror on the Marvel Universe.
And yeah, legitimately, I've seen consequences for these actions.
She's just breaking the glass ceiling. Go, girl, boss.
You know, they all just hate to see a bad bitch winning.
Sure.
Well, they do, because a bad bitch winning means they're dying. It does mean them dying, and they kind of hate that, so what are you gonna do?
I see how it is. Next up is X-Men 136.
God forbid a woman should do anything.
God forbid. Next up is X-Men 136 from May of 1980, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Bob Sharon, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski.
The pacing of this, though. No, this is so much faster than most modern events.
Yeah, they do move faster than they used to. I think it's really well paced, this whole story, actually. Writing through these was actually pretty easy, because I kept going and going and going.
Oh, wait, was the X-Men logo still cracked?
Yeah, it is still cracked.
It's still cracked from when Jean cracked it.
When she crunched it.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't actually make that connection. I noticed both titles, but I didn't, make the connection that that's why it was cracked. I loved that.
Yeah, because she was crushing it in the last issue.
She was.
And it was actually being crushed to pieces, but it's still mostly intact.
This isn't useful. This isn't anything. It's just cool.
It does look really cool.
Despite the late hour, Empress Lalandra's ministers are quick to assemble, reviewing the situation before Lalandra makes the solemn decree that the Phoenix must be destroyed. Back on Earth, the hubbub continues to spread around the globe, as in the White House, the President receives the news that the energy signal that just blasted away from Earth has reversed course.
Great!
Dark Phoenix is coming back home, baby!
Wait, is that president?
His staff then sent up an alarm to the Avengers, and we learn that apparently in the Marvel Universe, Jimmy Carter won re-election!
That's Jimmy Carter!
I'm not a huge, Jimmy stan or anything, but anything other than Ronnie.
Wait, are you telling me that Reagan lost?
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't believe you.
I know, it's too good to believe, and I'm sure I'll be proven wrong, but, I'm gonna live with this spark of love and kindness in my heart, because I'm pretty convinced that Jimmy Carter must be the best thing to, a best person we've had as president.
So what's going to have happened is Reagan did a coup.
Oh, God. Oh, God, that's another one of those fake Marvel Universe events, isn't it?
Yes, that's how we go from Carter to Reagan without a presidential election year.
After a while of the alarm sounding unanswered, Jarvis runs into the room, confused as to why Hank didn't answer this before now.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jarvis, I understood that
Mr.
I'm
Jarvis.
just a small-town lawyer.
And he doesn't know why Hank's not here, but he's got the duty to assemble the Avengers, so...
No, an Avenger.
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 Is an Avenger. The missing Avenger is hard at work at the Xavier School, cooking up a mnemonic scrambler they can theoretically slap onto Jeannie's noggin and shut her conscious thoughts down long enough to stop her.
Yes. You have to get close enough to touch her.
And while Scott is appreciative, he's not particularly enthused. He'd probably be happy to know that some of his teammates are taking advantage of the time to practice in the danger room. Like, that's the kind of thing he'd be real jazzed about.
If he wasn't depressed.
Right, if he wasn't depressed. They're all really frustrated, particularly Piotr.
Who is actually breaking the danger room, I think.
He tears a giant chunk off the machine. They're trying to just stop. He's just like, well, it's part way to stopped now. It's like, well, what the hell can they do? Not give up, but like, how? When Dark Phoenix returns to Earth, she doesn't come screaming back in for a rematch with her friends. Instead, she touches down softly on the Earth outside a house in the small town of Annandale-on-Hudson, some 50 miles south of Albany, New York.
Oh boy.
Once upon a time, this was the woman Jean Grey's home. She steps inside those familiar doors and takes a look around before the lights click on and her father descends the stairs.
I do not expect him to last very long.
She must have been pretty fucking loud, because shortly behind him are both Jean's mom and sister. It's a strange, impromptu family reunion, but it's all another set of whirling stresses. Dark Phoenix doesn't even know why she's here, but Jean cares, and she's finally overwhelmed with the rush of their thoughts and everything else, and she lashes out, crystallizing one of the house plants, and Jean's father casts her out. And so Dark Phoenix leaves the house, emerging into a thick fog she already pegs as storms work. Recognizing it doesn't stop her from falling prey to it as Nightcrawler bamps onto her back, slamming that mnemonic scrambler down on her head.
And the problem is solved. The problem is solved. The end.
Yeah,
job,
this
guys.
is the end of the Dark Phoenix saga.
Everything's
it's pretty
fine.
anticlimactic,
I
but
know.
everything's gonna be okay.
Everything worked out really well, actually. I'm really glad. Good for them, you crazy kids. Jean screams out in pain from the device, hurling Nightcrawler off into the fog. But there are more X-Men to take his place. Colossus grabs onto her ankle, and Phoenix is just not having it, though I'm actually very distracted by this panel where Jean stops having a foot. Some people will probably say, well, it's right there, and you can't see it because it's behind Piotr's arm, but that doesn't feel right. If he had her leg in the grip from the panel before, I would buy it, but his grip has moved too far up the leg. It doesn't make sense. Where's her fucking foot?
I don't know.
You see what I fucking mean? I'm losing my mind.
Pray tell, where would you draw her foot?
Sticking out just like kind of below that divot of where his muscle is and his elbow is.
Maybe just like the tip of the toe.
Exactly.
Somewhere past his wrist.
That's all it's not a big beef, it's just like very distracting.
For you.
For me. Next, Storm and the Phoenix grapple for a bit. Storm pleads in the name of the love that they share
Gay!
that Jean let them help her. And Phoenix is like, in the name of the love we shared, I'll weep over your grave.
That's also gay.
That's pretty fucking metal.
That's also very gay.
That's also some sick fucking smack talk.
It is, but it's gay.
Beast then drops down from the tree he's hiding in and grabs Jane's arms. Not really sure what his plan was, but Wolverine...
To die horribly?
Yeah, Wolverine immediately knows what's to be done. He tackles Jean right out of McCoy's grasp, both of them soaked as they pull a Sully splashing down onto the Hudson. Logan, heaviness in his heart, draws his claws back to do what no one else can bring themselves to do. And in that moment, Jean encourages him, pleads with him, kill her while he can. But the plea is probably what fucks him up the most.
Oh no.
It's the one thing to deal with the Dark Phoenix. It's another thing when suddenly there is Jean. And he waits too long, and then the Phoenix takes hold once more, blasting Logan backwards before tearing McCoy's overloaded scrambler off.
Oh, that use of darkness.
Finally able to think straight, Dark Phoenix scoops up the X-Men and sweeps away the fog, trying to figure out what to do with them now that she's got them telekinetically in tow. Colossus tries to plead for mercy, but she's not having it, seeming to have come to the conclusion that she really does just need to kill them. And then Cyclops calls her attention from the side, demanding she knock it off.
That could work.
He doesn't take a crack at her, though. He doesn't even try to defend himself. He's gonna try to talk her down.
Well,
sorry, it's speech time because it's another banger.
Honestly, considering their track record on trying to fight her, this actually is probably the more successful.
This is a smart move.
Because otherwise he just gets, I don't know, his I-beams turned backwards into his skull, and they come out the back of his head.
I can't stop you. I won't even try. Be true to your malefic destiny, Phoenix. Kill me. If you can. But if you can't, then ask yourself, why? You're Dark Phoenix, power incarnate. No force in existence can stand against you. The X-Men have defied you, fought you, yet we live. Phoenix's answer is that they're not worth killing, but Summers doesn't buy that, continuing, that's one answer, but there's another. True, you're Dark Phoenix, but you're still also Jean Grey. No matter how hard you try, you can't exercise that part of yourself. It's too fundamental. You can't kill us because you love us. And we love you. Again, Phoenix denies the charge, claiming not to know what this love is.
But she's desperate to deny it.
Which again, Sight calls bullshit on. Oh? For the love of the X-Men, you sacrificed your life. For the love of me, you resurrected yourself. For the love of the whole universe, you almost died a second time to save it. Know nothing of love? Jean, you are love. Your existence, your very creation springs from love, from the noblest emotions a human can attain, and now you want to deny that? To deny yourself? She's in a rough state.
Yes! No! She's falling.
She's in a rough state. Clearly, that reaches through to her, because there's that part of her yearning for the sensation of the power of the Phoenix, the power she's burning in, but Scott makes his plea for her to let him help her, when suddenly Jean collapses into his arms with a cry.
Oh, God.
Charles Xavier wheels his way into the clearing.
God damn it!
I like to think it took him a lot more time than the ease with which John's portraying it with, because that doesn't feel like that tracks with the kind of wheelchair he has.
Yeah.
I can't help but think he made noise doing that.
But, I've never been wheelchair bound, so the fuck do I know? He orders Scott to get out of the way, and he does, if not by choice.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, Phoenix? You can have this one. Just, this one you can end.
Phoenix tosses Scott out of the way before blasting the professor, leaving him looking ragged in the wreckage of his wheelchair. Charles feels a certain guilt for the situation.
He should.
And Dark Phoenix is like, guess you shouldn't have unleashed my telepathy. Big L there.
L, ratio, you suck.
Touch grass. Wait, he is.
She said touch grass and she enforced that shit. Honestly, I think that would have come back out on its own way one way or another, but, you can't say that when you're trying to be mean to Charles Xavier.
Alright.
And then Xavier enters into battle on the psychic plane.
Good luck with that, my guy.
The might of the Phoenix versus the will of Charles Xavier. Slowly, though, bit by bit, Charles reinstalls those circuit breakers, the sky giving a flashing light show as Jean Grey collapses to the ground. Cyclops sprints to her side, holding Jean's naked body in his arms.
And she's naked.
He's made up... Yeah, someone's naked. He's made up his mind. No matter who's come back from this fight, he's gonna marry that girl.
Aww.
Good luck with the actions having consequences, though.
Jean begins to stir to life, smiling tiredly up at her boyfriend. Scott then proposes, and the pair kiss passionately as Jean accepts. I guess she's the kind for the public proposal, here in front of both of her families. Though Dad's pretty quick to drape his bathrobe over his little girl.
Yeah.
A little embarrassed to see her in the buff.
Oh boy.
John Gray then wants some answers from the fucking professor. Chuck agrees to stop lying to the parents of his charges for like 10 seconds, so long as he can just, like, make him a cup of tea.
Right.
Looks like it's going to be an even longer night.
It might be a pretty cold cup of tea because the X-Men all vanish in a flash, leaving only the horrified Gray family behind.
Put it in a to-go cup.
Too late, he missed it.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
5.
5.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for love saving the day. Call me old-fashioned.
But that's the thing, isn't it?
Fucking Chuck, though, because Scott it was working. He was talking her down.
Yeah.
And that might have even been better. Imagine what happens if he talks the Phoenix off the edge.
Also, reading this after the recent bullshittery with the Phoenix, there's such a stark difference because there's this thing in the current not the current Thor comics, but the recent Thor comics, where they revealed that the Phoenix is actually Thor's mom.
Sure.
And there's this whole thing, and of course it was Jason Aaron, my mortal enemy, who wrote this. But there's this whole thing where the Phoenix is like, I still love you, Thor, even though I haven't been around through all of time and space. I love you the most. And, like,
what?
Okay.
I can't believe the Phoenix is a deadbeat mom.
Right? And, like, the whole thing about her being like, I don't know what love is. I'm like, yeah. Even if she was Thor's mom, she wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Odin and Thor's mother. What a fun...
Dumb.
Story
Dumb.
line.
I don't know if I accept that until I read it. I won't believe that happened, no matter how many times you tell me.
Well, I have good news, because the other writers are mostly ignoring it.
Oh, good.
I imagine
they're still acting like Gaia is his mom.
I imagine one of the major current writers is super duper going to ignore that.
Very explicitly, he has stated that Gaia is Thor's mom.
What, you mean just a very big, important run of Thor is just going to casually ignore the Phoenix stuff?
Yeah.
This is a classic cover.
This is a really good cover.
This Marvel comic could be worth $2,500 to you.
It's about a Toys R Us shop-a-thon.
Oh, shit.
Hi.
His head is bigger than the last time we saw him.
He must have been doing some interfering because his head has grown several times since the last time we saw him.
This is how it works. He interferes and his head grows.
It's like a Pinocchio situation.
Yes. Every time he interferes, his head grows, and that's how the Watchers can out other Watchers. But the problem is...
Uatu, have you been doing a good job at your job, not interfering or anything?
No, but that's just it. They're all hypocrites.
Going really great.
They're all hypocrites.
Whoa, I almost lost my balance there.
They're all hypocrites, so they can't call each other out, because if they did, they'd have to out themselves. So they're all just growing their heads over the millennia. Or, well, to be fair, over the last couple years.
And he's here because the story of Jean Grey has been one of his favorite soaps, and now he has to see how this pans out.
And he has to tell us about it.
Yep.
On the other end of that flash of light, the X-Men suddenly stand assembled in the cargo deck of a Shi'ar dreadnought, surrounded on all sides. Before they even have the chance to get their bearings, Gladiator's voice booms out that they're in the presence of Empress Lalandra, Majestrix of the Shi'ar.
Hey, her boy toy's here. Don't fight. We're not here to fight, please.
Hey, The Empress declares that the Phoenix must die, giving the X-Men an outline of just what she was up to while she was away from Earth. I think I'm going to have to give this one to Chris as like my favorite sneaky recap he's done. It's very excellently integrated into the story.
Ravager of Worlds.
I like how Lilandra has plaited her head feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, she does that. Oh, remember, it's like her helmet, too.
Yeah.
It seems kind of silly, they're feathers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. The X-Men are definitely staggered to learn about the fate of Dabari, all except Scott, who had some kind of idea of what happened. It's not The specifics.
Yeah, my fiance probably done something and probably destroyed
I was getting
something
vibes. But,
but, I'm still gonna marry that girl, even if, billions of voices all went
cried
quiet
out
all at once.
and then suddenly quit.
Yeah. Even if my fiance
Alderaan.
did
Even if my fiance created another Mangog.
yeah, even if that happened, I'm still marrying that girl.
I'm marrying that girl. As for the name of the place, I honestly don't know. They kind of wavered within the page last issue, and it had a name, so I kind of took it as Dabari is the sun, and Badari is the planet and the people.
That's dumb.
Whatever, Jean must be punished for destroying Badabari.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
But again, Scott speaks in her defense. This is Lady. That was Dark Phoenix, not Jean. And Dark Phoenix has been nixed. But Lilandra doesn't buy that. She was the Phoenix once, and then it escalated. Now she's just the Phoenix again. She's too great a threat. And for the sake of all who live, she must be destroyed.
Oh god, it would have been better if she'd been talked down from the wall.
She calls for her warriors to close in, but that's when Charles speaks up, calling for a duel of honor.
Ooh.
Lilandra is, actually really proud of her boo there. Because he didn't just call for an honor duel. He called for an Aran and Helar, which is a special, unignorable kind of honor duel that the Shi'ar have. So, he was studying.
Wow, he really... The language... Wow. Charles, my beloved, had the fates weaved a different tapestry, we might have had the stars.
It's her man candy, man. Off from the side, though, representatives of the Kree and the Skrulls are not happy about Lilandra being like, I can just unilaterally decide that they can just duel it out.
No. I have to unilaterally decide that they can duel it out. It's the rules.
So, Lilandra takes a sidebar to Zoom call the Supreme Intelligence and the Empress of the Skrulls.
God damn it. You hate getting these people on the line.
They agree to the duel, though Empress Urkil of the Skrulls adds the stipulation that she wants their representatives here to make sure the Shi'ar aren't just going to let the X-Men win, because, I've heard that guy is your man candy, Lilandra. I'm onto you.
They know.
Oh, the gossip is everywhere. Lilandra with a human?
Ugh.
Can't
imagine.
Who would do that with a human? Ugh.
This prompts some frustration from the Skrull rep, who does not want to stand alongside this Kree son of a dog.
Well, yeah, these are people who regularly go to war with each other.
Lilandra just, rolls her eyes at that shit and then returns to the X-Men, announcing the agreement. The X-Men aren't all so sure they're happy with this duel Charles has signed them all up for.
Well, it was either this or death.
At the very least, thanks based, it gives them the time to decide how they all feel about going through with it. Because the duel is at dawn, by whatever fucking standard we're counting down by.
Space Dawn.
By whatever standard we're counting dawn by.
Right.
Sorry.
Space Dawn. It's, Shi'ar Standard Time.
Jean Grey enjoys the beauty of the Empress's flagship, pensively staring into a fireplace as she ruminates on her deeds as Dark Phoenix.
Wait, she got a new fit. She
Yeah.
ordered a fit.
Yep.
Sorry, I just wanted to point it out.
Yep, she did, in fact, do that. Kurt Wagner tries to clear his mind in a fun little obstacle course of hoops and bars, jumping to and fro between them. He's unsure how he feels about the upcoming fight. As a child growing up in the circus, he knew some Holocaust survivors. He can't forgive the people responsible for that, so how can he defend Jean?
Oh boy. We're just, putting some real world weight here, huh?
Trying to find some fun to distract himself with, he leaps for the walls, only to find them in material he can't stick to.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well, rip him.
Luckily, he's not the only one out for a little late-night exercise.
Very luckily. He could have been a splatter on the floor, and that would have sucked.
Because Warren Worthington scoops him out of the air, setting him safely back down on the deck once more, before confessing his own doubts and how much pain having those doubts causes him. Logan has himself a nice little shower. Someone is naked.
Very naked.
It's some Logan fan service time.
Wow, shiver me timbers. Also appreciating Lalandra's space pad. But he's got no doubts in Jean. The only thing he's hung up on is if Charles really could have gotten the job done like that. Like, is Dark Phoenix really gone?
I'm telling you, if Slim over there had actually closed the deal, we'd be in such a better place.
Maybe. I don't know. They still were coming already.
Oh,
this year,
yeah,
I
but then
think.
they wouldn't be dealing with a Jean Grey with controls in place. They'd be dealing with, I don't know, maybe a Jean Grey who had conquered the Phoenix herself.
Not a bad point.
Because I think when the Phoenix comes back out, she's gonna be pissed.
But imagine that this is Jean Grey, who is the Phoenix, who knows what it is to be the god, and
I like
is
your take.
in charge of that.
That's a good take. I'm into it. Hank McCoy has decided not to let himself get hung up on the morality of Jean's actions, instead focusing on the wrongness of Lalandra's actions in denying her a trial. They don't even have any proof that she actually did that, other than Lalandra just, said she did. And no, I don't know why Scott is humming right now. Maybe he's just being gripped by the spirit of song. He is pretty happy to emerge from his bath to find a masseuse, though.
Oh, my stars and garters.
There are going to be stars.
Oh, that kind of masseuse, huh?
Yep.
Pyotr Rasputin is also more than content to fight by Jane's side. When they fought Dark Phoenix, it was out of love. It wasn't to destroy her, but to cure her. That love hasn't changed, and he won't leave someone he loves like that to her fate.
I like that he wears tidy whities.
Aurora Monroe has also decided, if less happily, to stand beside Jean. Dark Phoenix is everything she hates, but she's wrapped up in the larger fabric of Jean, who she loves, and she'll stand by her side to the death. As dawn breaks, it finds Scott Summers sleepless, still suited up as he thinks about the upcoming duel. He sees full well where Lalandra is coming from, but it doesn't matter. He's not sure he even agrees it's her place to dole out those punishments. And then Jean comes to him, suited up in her old dress and mask from her Marvel Girl days.
Wow.
She's leashed back down to that level of power anyway, and she wants to see this through to the end. She isn't so sure she deserves the chance to fight for her life, but Summers won't accept that. He sees that as admitting that the Phoenix has won, because Jean Grey is not evil. The pair kiss passionately as Scott assures her that he's here with her, all the way to the end. When Scott and Jean make their way down to the transporter deck, everyone else is already there, so make of that what you will.
God.
Cyclops makes it clear to the others that anyone who doesn't want to fight, no hard feelings. But he's going. But they're all of a single mind, see, while they were waiting for these two to finish fucking, they discussed. They'll fight for Jean. And so Lalandra lays out the rules. The X-Men will fight the Imperial Guard. If the X-Men survive, anyone who's still alive goes free. If the Imperial Guard win, they will do with the Phoenix as they please. The X-Men are then beamed down to the blue area of the moon, a rune with a strange Earth-like atmosphere so long as you stay down within its crater.
I'd love to know how the Apollo astronauts didn't see that when they were
They missed
going
that
around
one.
it.
It's on the other side.
Because, I mean, they did just mention how long it took Apollo 11 to get to the moon. But...
Well, I guess we know about it in this. Universe, right?
Oh, so
I think so.
So you're
I
saying
think we actually do.
I think we do.
So you're saying the Apollo astronauts took pictures?
They wanted to go up there and explore it.
Okay.
Suddenly, there's another flash of light elsewhere in the ruins, and the fight is on. Warren, of course, immediately takes off, flying high to scope off the
Fucking
newcomers.
Warren never changes.
So he could take the first crack at the Imperial Guard, forgetting he was literally just told not to fly out of the crater, or else he'll catch can't breathe-itis.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's called not being able to breathe on the most of the moon.
He immediately does do that, and struggles to stay conscious until he eventually manages to fall back into the oxygenated area, and already admitting he was being stupid as Aurora rescues him.
Well, that's our load for the on the team right now.
Scott is quick to check up on him, though Warren manages to deflect the imminent chewing out somewhat by admitting, yep, I was being dumb, fucked up, did it bad.
It kind of matters, guys.
Logan gives warning that the guard are closing in, and so Scott calls the play. They're going to split the group in two and try to pick the guard off with hit-and-run tactics. Marvel, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Angel head off in one direction, while Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, and Beast head off in the other. Group 1 comes to a plaza they want to cross, but the issue is it's pretty much out in the open, so they have to make sure they can get away with it. Cyclops orders Nightcrawler to give the crossing a go, but the group is immediately set upon by 3 of the Imperial Guardsmen, Smasher, Starbolt, and Oracle. Group 2 hears the fracas beginning, but Beast keeps the bunch on task. There are already plenty of Guardians to fight, let them have theirs. Almost on cue, they turn a corner, running into the massive metallic War Star, offering them a choice between surrender or death.
Honorable death.
True.
Honorable surrender or honorable death.
Beast ushers Colossus to take down the Tin Man, only to be surprised as a smaller figure breaks off to pummel him too.
Well,
oh my god.
This thing did call itself we, as in plural. I guess
Yep.
this was the implication.
I actually never caught that, but yeah.
There's another guy inside the guy.
There is, in fact, another guy inside the guy.
Okay.
Storm and Wolverine...
That hit you kind of late.
Storm and Wolverine move to come to their defense when Gladiator literally tears the floor out from under them.
Oh my god.
Come on, this is a protected ruin. We shouldn't be destroying it.
It belongs in a museum!
A space museum.
This is
Hell yeah.
this is a space national park. Come on.
It takes Aurora a ways to pull herself together and then catch the pair on the limited winds. At the bottom of the shaft, they find a large building, seemingly constructed entirely of crystal. They can't investigate, though, because Guardsman Earthquake is already waiting for them. He then attacks. I'm not going to explain how, I'll leave it to your imagination.
I-beams. He uses I-beams.
Nailed it. It sends Wolverine flying right through the wall, leaving it totally unbroken in his wake. And while Storm would love to know more about that, she's busy fighting this tool now. Gonna give points to Storm for some pretty sick smack talk. You, Earthquake, you claim to control the earth beneath our feet. Learn now, villain, that Storm controls the wind and the rain, elements that grind the earth down to powder.
Yeah, she can use that wind to make an earthquake.
So we don't
take
need an earthquake villain when we have a wind hero who can make earthquakes.
Yeah, take that, loser.
She batters Earthquake with the paving stones outside the crystal structure, but while she's focused on him, another guardsman, Hussar, creeps up behind her, wrapping her neurolash around Storm's throat, allowing her to be pelted with stones until Storm is down. First blood to the Imperial Guard.
Ooh.
Back up top, the scrap continues. Nightcrawler is struggling because most of the maneuvers he's worked out are teamed up with a flyer. The problem being Angel doesn't actually know any of these moves, so he's stuck on the ground. And all the guys are fighting are flying, so he's having problems. Which it allows Oracle to kind of help team up on Angel while he's grappling with Smasher, and she just hits him with a mental attack and leaves him dazed. And while he's out of it, Smasher hurls the mutant groundward with all of his might. At least Kurt has something to do now, diving after and then porting down below Goldilocks to hopefully catch him.
We're going to emphasize the hopefully part.
Yeah. And then do what?
And not die!
Wolverine begins to come to in the crystal structure.
Huh.
Maybe it's just whatever knocked him out, but he can't get his senses wrapped around this place, no matter how much time he searches. Suddenly, Uatu's big dome pops up on the big screen like, get the fuck out of my house. I saw you on my Ring camera. Fucking get out.
God, this is Uatu's house. I've never seen it intact before. Oh no.
Which Wolverine's like, want to fight about it? And Uatu's like, not really, get the fuck out. And kicks him out of the house. I think Lilandra probably really could have done to warn Uatu she was going to have a bunch of her boys fight the SpaceX on his lawn.
This is the worst.
He would have been excited. He would have been really happy to see that. He would have come out and, gotten a lawn chair.
Mm-hmm.
He would have set up a bunch of cameras so he could live stream it at different angles.
Maybe get some binoculars to get a close-up view of some of the action.
He'd have been all ready, and Lilandra just, fucked him out of that. Really fucked. Really fucked. Wolverine decides he doesn't want to...
Oh boy, zooming in.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
Uh-oh.
Wolverine decides he doesn't really want to oblige himself of Uatu's hospitality after all. Relieved to see Storm and up and okay. At least, before he starts to get the feeling that something is not right here. He tries to put his finger on just what before deciding to trust his instincts, throwing Storm by the head into the nearest wall. Can you guess what's happening here before we go forward?
It's somebody else.
Who is it?
Mystique?
No?
No.
I got no idea.
Loki? That's happened before.
And he throws her by the head, and it turns out
Oh,
it's the
no.
Skrull guy!
Of course it's the Skrull.
It is Skrull Representative Raxor.
Should have guessed it would have been one of the shapeshifter race.
The only shapeshifter that has been shown in this issue.
F to both of you.
I'm sorry, we didn't expect him to be in this battle. He's, he doesn't exactly belong here.
Now he agrees. I don't think Logan particularly cares what this guy is. The answer probably would have been leaping at him, claws out, no matter what. But the Kree representative then comes to his counterpoint's rescue, blasting Wolvie. But rather than being grateful, Raxor is furious over having been rescued by a Kree.
I can't wait for these guys to have an enemies to lovers arc.
That's fucking hilarious. That's just not how it's supposed to go for this guy.
He transforms himself into some kind of monster, leaping at the Kree like, "How dare you be a bro to me!"
You aren't allowed to save me. I need to die from that enemy instead of be saved by you.
Honestly, the Kree dude seems pretty chill, all things considered, like among all the participants of this weird council.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2 X-Men down, 6 to go.
And potentially one Kree downed by a Skrull who's not even supposed to be here. He doesn't even
He
go
doesn't
to
even go here!
Neither of them are supposed to be here.
To Kurt's surprise, Angel did not indeed land in his arms. And so he's been searching these tunnels for the missing X-Man. He hasn't found him, but he has found Manta Ray of the Imperial Guard. She passes by below him as he clings to the shadows near the ceiling.
I think she has one of the coolest designs of all of them.
She has a really cool design. I like it a lot. Kurt makes to follow her, but with Manta Ray's infrared vision, he wasn't as well hidden as he thought. And she blasts him with her, Manta Rays.
Sure, let's go with that.
She already took down Angel, too, so 4 X-Men down, 4 to go. Colossus buries his half of Warstar under a pile of debris and rushes to Beast's defense, but he doesn't make it in time as Cecil gives Beast a blast of electricity, leaving there only 3 X-Men left on their feet.
Ooh.
Gladiator intercepts Piotr, having made it his personal mission to stop him from so much as laying another hand on a member of his guardsmen.
Hank is gonna be so frizzy when he wakes up.
He is going to be so frizzy.
You know, assuming he wakes up.
Battle is fearsome, with neither of the men giving so much as an inch, meeting blow for blow and force for force, until finally the arena around them can take no more, collapsing down upon the men, still wrapped in battle. For a long time, it seems that neither man has won this scrap, before finally the rubble begins to shift, and Gladiator emerges victorious, though he does help pull Petey from the wreckage.
You know, so he can kill him.
No, because he's an honorable bro.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but also so they can kill him.
It's not honorable to kill him, he's down.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're all supposed to die at the end of this.
I don't think so.
No,
I think
I
they
think
mostly
just
care
Jean.
about the Phoenix.
True.
But they could die in the fight.
Mm.
On Lalandra's flagship, she watches as Xavier's despair grows with each fallen X-Man. And though his pain is a stab in her heart, there's nothing she can really do to ease it. She stands by her course of action. And then they stand alone. Jean Grey and Scott Summers against the world. Even with their ranged attacks, it's almost impossible to keep the guardsmen off of them as they flee further into the ruins, buying a moment of respite as Jane shields them away in an alcove behind some moon dust. It's clear that this is the only time there is left. Scott can't find the words to say everything on his mind, but luckily he's got Jean Grey, so he doesn't really need to find the words. She knows them. The pair then... Oh, God, I'm not gonna get weepy. I struggled writing it.
Oh my god.
I'm getting emotional about this.
The pair then clasp hands and walk into their final stand, battling back first their opponents and then the rest of the Imperial Guard as they come. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Jean Grey, a man named Scott Summers. They were young. They were in love. They were heroes. Today they will prove it, beyond all shadow of the doubt. And then, in the center of the fracas, there was one. Suddenly an energy spike explodes from within the ruins because you cannot shove the contents of Pandora's box back in once released. No. And they tear into Lalandra's ship.
Oh, you downed Scott, didn't you? That was a mistake.
That was a big mistake.
Yeah, he made a big mistake.
Big mistake.
Much of her crew still survives, including the Empress herself, who calls to execute a plan that should the Phoenix not be destroyed, they raise the entire star system to the ground.
Yeah, that's still not going to kill her.
That's what it takes to destroy it. Do whatever, pretty much. The professor probably isn't on board with that part of the plan, but he agrees that this has gotten out of hand and has to be stopped. He reaches back out into the ruins to rouse his battered and bruised X-Men to action. The Phoenix must be stopped. Scott pleads for some other way forward, but inside I think he probably knows there isn't any way forward, because right on the back of that, he blasts at the ruins, collapsing a building down on top of his fiancée. She survives it, but it's a blow that staggers her, as the only plan that comes to mind now is just to hit her until she burns herself out. There goes Dark Phoenix, whatever comes first. Slowly the group comes together, and knowing that he can't land the killing blow after what happened on Earth, Wolverine picks up Piotr and fastball specials him at Jean.
That's not how that's supposed to work.
Well, it's the moon. Gravity's different.
Yep, low gravity.
Yep.
And Colossus just can't. At the last moment, he pulls his punch. And while it sends Jean flying, it also makes her see sense. So long as Jean Grey lives, the Phoenix can't die. And inevitably, the power will twist her into the Dark Phoenix once more. And indeed, as she flees into the ruins once more, her costume has already made the change. Scott catches up, pleading with her as she runs, to just let them help. He does catch up, but Jean telekinetically grabs him as she tries frantically to make him see. I'm scared, Scott. I'm hanging on by my fingernails. I can feel the Phoenix within me taking over. Part of me welcomes it. You want me to fight? I am, with all of my strength. But I can't forget that I killed an entire world. 5 billion people. As casually, as unthinkingly as you would crumple a piece of paper. Your way, I'd have to stay completely in control every second of every day for the rest of my immortal life. Maybe I could do it. But if I slipped, even for an instant, if I failed, if even one more person died at my hands, it's better this way. Quick, clean, final. I love you, Scott. And then she does it, activating the ancient weaponry abandoned in the ruins and disintegrating herself to dust. And Scott Summers breaks, collapsing on the floor to weep alongside the dust of what was once the love of his life. Off in the distance, Uatu is watching his stories with the recorder, who asks for Uatu to elaborate a little. The Phoenix was a hero by Raquelian records. Why did they feel the need to do this? She saved the universe. And Uatu posits that the problem is that Jean Grey was human. With the Phoenix Force, Jean was placed so far above humanity that she could make her will into reality with the snap of a finger without, the responsibility, the evolution that takes you to being able to handle that. The passion of the Phoenix was drawn to the innate passion of humanity, and eventually everything just boiled over. But when faced with the choice between that boundless power and the horror of her deeds, Jean Grey chose to sacrifice herself so that the universe may live. How y'all like that?
Hey, Uatu! You're talking to someone.
Well, yeah, but the person he's talking to is also a guy who's just there to watch.
I know, but look, on the hierarchy of people there to watch, Uatu isn't supposed to interact with mortal constructs any more than he's supposed to interact with people. He's supposed to just watch, not have a guy over for brewskis, even if that guy is a machine.
And he's also Thor's friend.
Yes, and so Thor is probably going to hear about this one day from the recorder.
Uatu's head grew 3 sizes that day.
But
5?
Yeah.
Can I give
10?
this a 6?
10 out of 5?
Yeah, 5.5 out of 5.
Can I give this more than a 5 if we're out of 5?
Yeah, that was good.
It was pretty good.
Samuro also liked that.
It
There's
was,
no point.
it's okay. It's not bad.
I had to go upstairs earlier and stop being in the living room while I was writing because I was crying and it was embarrassing.
And then I was like, I gotta go get groceries. And you were like, fuck!
Okay, I guess I'll come back down.
Oh, so that's kind of why the vibes were a little weird when I got here first.
It was just weird timing.
Because Ripley was alone crying.
Yeah. That is the end of season 2!
Woo!
And next time, win a Toys R Us shopping spree!
But that's not it for us tonight, because it's the end of season 2. We've got our season superlatives.
Yes.
Ooh.
So we did this last season when we finished up with Stan. And I guess this is just a tradition that we're going to keep going with.
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I want to start off like I kind of did last one. Who is your favorite X-Men this season? It's still my boy. I still love my boy. That's probably not going to change. I love my boy.
I still love Kurt, but I think my favorite might have been Storm this season.
She's very level-headed, and it really came out this season.
Mm-hmm.
I could spend days trying to figure out which one my favorite is.
You were given days to figure out which one your favorite was.
You were given warning.
Okay, months. Years. I don't...
Knee-jerk reaction, go.
Yeah.
I think it works as a group title because they're not...
They balance each other out?
You can't just have one.
Well, sure you can, but if you had to pick one, like if you had all the Skittles and you could only have one flavor of Skittles, which Skittle would you pick?
This would be the Skittles I eat together in, like...
No, that's
gather
not
other
allowed.
people.
You get to pick one
I
flavor of
can't
Skittle.
do it.
You get to pick a
I
Skittle.
can't.
Coward?
I can't.
You suck.
I'm too weak.
Alright, well, next award is for Best Pointless Cameo. The nominees are Vision, That One Time.
We should have award show music going in the background.
We should. I'll try
Genuinely-
and get some.
Okay, I genuinely don't remember Vision that one time.
It was in Thor.
Yeah.
It was when they were all stuck on Earth and the Warriors 3 were just hanging out at Avengers Mansion.
Annoying everybody who lived there.
And Vision was just there.
Yeah.
I don't remember him at all. I want you to understand, I remember the other two nominees.
Well, yeah, because Vision didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Next nominee is Doc Samson, who showed up only to make a fucking fool of himself.
I feel like that might be a thing he just does as Hulk's
I suspect
therapist.
that may be the case. I mean, he's known for being Hulk's therapist, not like a great fighter. And last but not least, Pierre Trudeau,
No.
former Canadian Prime Minister.
Look, that one's made hilarious in retrospect, considering his son,
That was
current Prime Minister.
That's already funny though, because he shows up, he's like, "Oh fuck, this is so expensive. Oh fuck."
Yeah.
The Canadian perspective. So I wonder how they have so many black projects. Like, how do they have all these...
No, everybody's too busy looking at America. They don't even fucking notice.
But how do the Canadians afford it? Is this the problem? Is Trudeau spending too much money on all these secret
What,
projects?
you think the Americans aren't giving the Canadians money?
Oh, so that's what they're doing with the money they're supposed to be spending on radar dishes to make sure nukes don't fly to America. Okay.
Yeah.
They want, instead of watching for a first strike...
They made Wolverine.
Yes.
So that's what we've got. Vision, Doc Samson, and Pierre Trudeau.
Vision, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, we have some argument about this. Like, most pointless cameo. Does that mean it's the one that's the most forgettable? Because if so, then it would definitely be Vision.
Absolutely. Pierre Trudeau's very memorable.
Very memorable.
He was
Doc Samson, also fairly memorable.
Because, like, let's put it this way.
Mutant green hair.
In fact, you know what? Pierre Trudeau was great because we can usually get a shot of a president.
Right, like
Pierre,
President Carter.
Pierre Trudeau had scenes.
Yeah.
He was there. He was prevalent.
He was the least. That's why I said it was kind of a throwaway when I put it in there, because he's the least cameo of these cameos.
But it's hilarious that this real-ass man had scenes in multiple X-Men books.
I want to give a shout out to my favorite.
Do you think he ever read it?
My favorite LGBT member of the Marvel Universe, Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna vote for Vision as well.
I stand with Doc Samson, but I appreciate where you're both coming from, because Doc Samson was just utterly useless.
Yeah.
But looks like best cameo goes to Vision that one time.
Yep.
It's specifically written that way.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Favorite new side character. We decided to make it new side characters because there were a lot of prominent holdovers from the season before, but we've also got some new side characters. So, right now we have Hildegard. Round of applause for Hildegard.
Lots of promise before
Valkyrie!
getting sift.
Yeah. True.
We have Kitty Pryde.
She has a
Woo!
long and storied
She's
journey
a side character, my friend.
ahead of her.
She sure is.
Dazzler.
He's also a side
Everybody
character.
loves Dazzler.
Dazzler is super important.
Mariko.
Oh, I know she's important somehow.
And for some fucking reason, Silas Grant.
Him. Absolutely him. Because he's the most pointless of the bunch.
I really like Silas, but I'm kind of torn between her and Dancing Queen, Young and Sweet, only 17 Dazzler.
I have a soft spot for Hildegard.
So nobody wins. Okay.
But I'm just
if we're
doubling.
putting it down to these three options, I'm going to go with Silas Grant.
I still have to go with Silas Grant because he's so just there.
Why? Why is he
He's a
1800
regular
sea captain
Look, he's
who
a
just made friends with like a space colonizer that like tried to destroy it, actually destroyed his world.
Destroy his world. But then he went on adventures with her and the god she
And then
knew.
moved in with her.
Yes.
Right, I'm so disappointed when I hear that he's not going to be back again, because I was really hoping to see him and Tennant's friendship further develop.
Or, maybe in a decade from now, hear back from him
When
and his
you
weird
take
adventures.
over Thor,
Yes.
Yeah.
We already discussed this.
Bring Silas Grant back. Justice
Okay,
for Silas
alright,
Grant.
fine. Unanimously, Silas Grant.
biggest letdown of the season, we have Odin and Thor's backtracking on giving a shit about anything he learned.
Yeah, the part where Thor was like, Odin, you can't just do whatever you want. And Odin was like, you're banished. And then...
No one cared, I guess.
No
It's
one
fine.
cared.
It didn't
People
matter.
did care. Oh, Thor mostly.
Well, John
Well,
thought...
yeah, but nothing ever came of it.
Yeah. Well, John thought Moses Magnum was anticlimactic.
I don't know. I guess Claremont, knowing we were entering the Claremont era, had me expecting to spend more time in Japan than we were going to.
Japan will return in Avengers Infinity War.
Look, the man has kind of a look. Even if you don't know,
He has a reputation.
You know he's a weeb. You know it.
Alright, next nominee is Odin, not actually dead.
Was that a surprise?
It was a letdown.
It was a letdown. Hildegard and Sif head off and are immediately useless because they're women.
Yep, that happened.
Classic X-Men sans Chris.
Anything with Ann Nesenti.
Oh God, Anna Senti, you are writing the wrong everything. Why are you here?
And the Protector for the whole 2 pages anyone cares.
I literally have no idea what that is. So
That was the Toaster Man that showed up for 2 pages. He was on the cover. He looked like a football linebacker.
I have no memory of this.
Hard to be let down if he's completely unmemorable.
That's true. I put him as my answer, but you know what? If I can't remember him, is he a letdown?
Exactly.
It's like a letdown implies disappointment, and if I don't remember him, I'm not really disappointed.
You don't remember fucking anything.
Yes, I do. I remember Ann Nesenti's writing.
I'm so torn between... No, I think it's Thor's turnabout on Odin. That was so disappointing.
It was really disappointing. Well, because they met up again after the whole Asgardians are taken as slaves thing. And, like, there was, like, a brief thing where they were kind of, like, thinking about it, but then it never actually got addressed, and they just forgave each other, and it was over.
I feel like this is far too much me knowing the future, the distant, distant future.
Well, what's your biggest letdown?
Well, it has to be Ann Nesenti's writing. especially when we got the taste of what Chris could do in the 80s.
That was my second nominee.
Then we get mostly Ann Nesenti by the end. You even prepared me. You prepared me for this, and it still managed to just stab me.
I'll come together with you on that. Classic X-Men sense, Chris.
Okay, the Odin Thor thing feels like it's a
we have
cyclical
stories. There's
betrayal.
Piotr's going to Russia, dealing with his feelings of leaving his homeland. We have Magneto is dealing with his memories of the Holocaust and the loss of his daughter. We have all this shit going on, and then
zombies,
zombies,
which will screw up the economy. The main problem with zombies is that they will screw up the economy. They'll provide too much labor, and we can't have that. That's the problem with zombies. Not them being dead.
Those goddamn immigrants, I mean zombies.
What the fuck, Ann Nesenti? What was that?
Yeah, the more you talk about it, I'm really torn between these two, but I will accept classic X-Men sans Chris as my... Unless you have a better sale. Give me a sell. Give me a pitch.
I have the opposite of that. I mean, the Thor and Odin thing is definitely disappointing, but it's not really surprising.
Yeah.
Because that is kind of just how they are right now. They haven't really progressed to the point where that's actually going to go somewhere.
We haven't worked through enough shit yet. Thor needs to go to therapy longer.
It was literally Thor's first time defying Odin. So you can't expect that to go all the places that you want.
I'm not even sure Odin knows how to deal with that.
I like that point. I'm very secure now in classic X-Men sans Chris. Next up is Parent of the Year. We have some veteran nominees, actually. Charles Xavier and Odin.
Ooh, classic nominees for this sort of thing.
We have a newcomer, though, who I think might sweep it. Moira McTaggart.
Moira McTaggart has entered the ring.
Moira McTaggart has entered.
Oh.
These motherfuckers have done some bad shit. That might have actually been before. I remember that time that Charles was like, Scott's flinching because Chuck's gonna fucking hit him.
See, this is the interesting thing because Charles and Odin are like consistently bad. It's not news that they're bad, but Moira was a very recent focus.
You know what
and I don't think that either of them have done anything as bad as what Moira did.
Okay, but
not yet.
Dark Horse opinion. Charles Xavier is the only one of them to not actually be a parent of the kids he has.
True.
They're his originally child soldiers that he's raised.
Abusing his adopted children.
I mean, he did adopt Scott.
So, I mean, consider that the first one. Okay, Scott's not dead. What's his first reaction?
Yell at him.
How dare he defy me? you know.
It does almost feel worse when he chooses to put himself in that position, you know?
Odin is fated to be in the position that he is, as much as Thor is fated to be in the position that he is.
Odin did the fuck, so now he's bound to this decision.
These two are bound by the narrative in a way because they're
Odin fucked
gods.
the planet Earth.
Moira McTaggart.
Now has a baby.
Moira McTaggart is...
Moira McTaggart, it's sad she got fucking sexually assaulted by her
Yeah.
husband.
She has a massive dumpster fire life with a dumpster fire ex and
A dumpster fire.
and a
Yeah.
life consuming child.
Yeah.
She was dealt a bad hand. You can sympathize with her a lot easier than the other two.
You can.
But on the other hand, neither one of them locked their child away for a decade and starved him to death.
And then forgot about
True.
feeding them for a year.
True.
I'm still all in on Moira.
I don't know, Charles, I think...
It's not a bad point.
I think Moira would have actually been... If she could have saved her son, she would have been so grateful and so nice and so happy.
Chuck is never happy.
Exactly. There is nothing...
No.
Look, I think you could have satisfied Moira McTaggart. You can definitely satisfy Odin. You can never satisfy Charles Xavier.
I like your point. I stand where I am. What about you?
I don't know. There's good points for all of them.
There are. I'm picking one of the monsters.
Yeah.
I stand with Moira.
Well, you stand against Moira.
No, you're standing with
No,
Moira.
I stand with Moira.
I'd rather stand
The
with...
real parent of the year is Joe McTaggs.
Oh, God. I mean, Moira's ex is worse.
He's pretty bad.
How
But
about-
he's dead now.
How about Super Dark Horse?
He's dead now, so we don't have to feel bad about calling him the worst parent.
Because
Yeah, it's
Again,
Joe Bags. It's
he
Joe McTaggs.
was a worse parent than Moira. He was a worse lover. He was a worse parent. He was a worse relationship person.
He was a politician.
He was a scumbag human being. Bet he was a fucking unionist.
I'm still with Moira. That was fucked. Biggest L. The X-Men are all kidnapped because they forgot to lock the door.
It happens. It
Cyclops
happens.
gets a beat down by Moira.
I'm actually not shocked.
No, Moira's a little intense, honestly.
Well, yeah, and also Scott has one thing that he can do. Otherwise, he's a normal guy.
And
he
he's-
doesn't want to do it to most people.
And, I
Right.
mean, he has some training of other kinds, but he's got...
He wasn't expecting it. She
Yeah.
caught him unawares.
And last but not least, the Asgardians are defeated by some ants and lizards.
By a country mile. Come on, they are literally Norse
Oh,
gods.
God, yes.
They are Norse warrior gods. They are... I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but the Asgardians are Aesir, which are explicitly warrior gods in Norse mythology. Fighting is what they do.
So obviously some aliens just rolled
Some
up and they were
fucking-
better at it.
Fucking Ant-Man rolled up and just fucking chumped them all.
Mhm.
And then fucking sold them as slaves. Are you kidding me?
That's exactly how Norse gods work, because it's really easy to roll up on Asgard and sell them as slaves.
Right.
It's really easy to just kidnap them and take them to some space slave market, because apparently Asgard is in space.
Well, yeah. Asgard's always been in space.
It's always in space.
I've never quite gotten, where.
I don't care.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. It's just like you look at the other side, just like off the moon, and it's like it's
Right.
a cloud. All right, hottest baddie this season. We have the Hellfire Club, the Ghost of Galactus, the Protector, Mastermind, but like on his own, Plutz, Emma Frost, but also on her own, because she stood out, Igron, Angus McWhirter, the 4D man,
Why?
He was a bad guy.
Scar,
Yes, but these aren't hot.
Baby McTags.
I mean,
Well, the 4D man's literally, he can be on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he can be on
but
ice.
Sithgar can't. He's just
Well, he could. Once.
Once.
Baby McTags. Odin. Dark Phoenix. That fucking Druid guy. And Arcade.
He can also be on fire. Once.
Technically, technically any of them could be on fire.
At least once.
But only some of them can do it more than once.
So who is our hottest baddie of the season?
I have to go with Emma Frost. That's not even like a debate.
Okay, but like consider Dark Phoenix and 4D Man can both be on fire.
And Emma's still hotter.
She is the only one out here like in her fucking underwear.
Yeah.
No argument. Emma Frost.
Yeah, Dark Phoenix...
Then again, if you vote for the Hellfire Club, does that include the whole Hellfire Club? Because there's a lot of underwear happening in the Hellfire Club.
But I like the purity of Emma Frost alone.
It's all underwear, baby. All underwear all the time.
I mean, especially that one side story that didn't suck.
What does Emma do when she's on her period?
Oh, God. She wears black.
She wears black.
Telekinesis?
Oh.
She doesn't telekinesis.
She doesn't. No, she only has telepathy at this point.
Fuck.
Favorite Galactus ripoff. Zor. Ego Prime. The Vacuum Lords. And a late edition from the Dark Phoenix.
The Dark Phoenix isn't a Galactus ripoff. The Dark Phoenix is something new.
She is.
But she's also kind of Galactus-ish.
She's nom-nom-nomming her way through the galaxy.
Yeah, but like, as an actual genre of Galactus ripoffs, the Vacuum Lords were hilarious.
Hell yeah, Vacuum Lords all the way. There's something inherently funny about the fucking...
Because they're vacuums.
They didn't bother to talk to their fucking neighbors for like a millennia or some shit.
They just kind of missed that their neighbors all died.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Every last one.
And they didn't realize all these planets were... It's really funny. Alright, cutest couple.
In both words, in
quotations.
quotes, which very much changes the dynamic of these phrases.
We have Jean and Scott.
No, they're actually a cute couple, not a quote-unquote cute quote-unquote couple.
Yeah.
We have Thor and Herc.
Also, an actual, genuine, cute couple. I'm sorry, but I'm not even sure these two are qualified.
We have Moira and Sean as, like, Sean was so willing, it's like, my woman is crazy and does crimes, but I love her anyway.
I mean, he's ride or die. You gotta respect
Hey,
that.
look,
He is.
Look, he's not the only one. If you, Gene and Scott...
Yeah, they're both like, hey, my woman is crazy and does crimes, and then Lorna's like, hey, my man is crazy.
It's like that John Mulaney joke. My wife is a bitch and I love her so much.
Yeah. Honestly, does it not fit?
But, I mean, they're just a cute couple. Well, Moira's actually, like, evil or something, but...
She's a little gray.
But, I mean,
She's complicated.
Compared to some of the names on this that we're going to get to...
We next have the Polycule that ate Westchester County.
That's not a couple.
That's more than a couple.
Well, that's where the couple, air quotes, come in.
I see.
We have Logan and his waifu Mariko.
Oh,
God. Cringe.
Logan.
We have Mephisto and Loki in an eternity of sin.
God. And you'd never expect...
Which, by the way, we discussed this. This entry is funnier because they haven't even met yet.
Very one-sided.
No.
Yes.
Mephisto out here lusting after...
Pining.
Yeah.
Lusting, pining. Either way, he wants Loki.
He wants Loki to join him in an eternity of sin.
Yes.
Yes.
And lastly, we have Piotr and his harem of bitches.
I have to go with Mephisto and Loki. I do. Because, again, Mephisto met Thor in Loki's body. Or wearing Loki's face, depending on which...
Depending on who you ask.
Which part of the story you ask. Either way, he met Thor. And he shot his shot. He offered his love, his undivided attention and affection and evil goals.
Eternity of sin.
Yes, to Loki, who turned out to not be Loki, and he was so
upset
mad.
about that.
I'm sorry, but that's gotta go for it.
It's so fucking funny.
I gotta go with the Polycule that ate Westchester County because at every fucking turn, one of them was like, holy shit! Not you,
fair.
my love!
But still, Mephisto on this one. I can't get away from the absurdity of Mephisto's desire to join in that eternity of sin.
On a more serious note, I do agree. I'm still with the polykill that ate Westchester County, but Gene and Scott made me fucking cry.
That's fair. But
I mean, if I was gonna answer genuinely, I'd say Gene and Scott. If I was gonna answer for the meme, I'd say Mephisto and Loki.
Look, if we're removing Q to the air quotes from this, Gene and Scott, no question.
Absolutely.
They're the genuine couple here.
The couple of all time.
They're the standard that we have to compare all couples we've encountered so far.
For the meme answer, polykill that ate Westchester County.
Yeah, you put those air quotes in. We can't be genuine about this. Gene and Scott don't stand a chance.
Not quite lastly, but lastly of the things we vote on, we have moments of indescribable badass. Piotr is dominating this category.
He is.
He's running the table on this particular
he's
category.
just the one that's the most...
He's
the best to paint on the side of a van.
Exactly. And that's one of my criteria when I'm how awesome would this look on the side of a 70s panel van? So we have Piotr red hot tearing through some motherfuckers in the Savage Land.
That was pretty awesome.
I mean, he was worried he was going to be hurt from that, but he realized he's also hurting them
hurt people.
I am red hot, and I hurt them more than they hurt me.
And again, Piotr tits out atop a dragon.
I love that one because I love dragons.
On another planet on a dragon.
Excellent. We have Gene destroying Mastermind's mastermind.
That was
pretty awesome.
We have Hulk tearing Master Mold a new one.
That was just funny.
That was fun. It wasn't all that epic, but it was fun. It was pretty intimidating in the moment.
You were just looking for things to fill out this category.
That weren't
Piotr. Speaking of, we have Piotr atomizes Proteus.
Who?
Baby McTaggart.
Baby McTags.
Right.
I can't believe you forgot Proteus.
Look, I'm sorry, I forgot his mutant name.
Apart from Mutant X, he went back and forth. It had to make things more complicated.
Look, calling him Baby McTags is way easier than trying to keep Mutant... Well, Mutant X is the least useful name in the history of
it's a terrible
names.
name.
It's awful.
We have Piotr versus Gladiator. Fight!
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
But I put in a last bid.
We do. We also have Piotr has a threesome.
And I still have to go with that. I do, man.
I have to go with Piotr tits out on a dragon.
See, I'm again with Piotr, but a third Piotr option, Piotr red hot in the Savage Land, because that was fucking awesome.
Oh, we're divided, but in the end, Piotr wins.
So does it really matter?
Winner is Piotr.
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing is Piotr won that.
We want to give one special award for Firelord for best out-of-sequence encounter.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it at first. But then I realized, hold on, wait, we're ahead.
Yep.
And he's the first one we've really dealt with out of order.
Wow, you guys were leg bouncing in sync for a second there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
It's fine, I just thought it was funny.
Anyway, that's our superlatives for the season. Is the end of what our next season is a surprise, or can you tell us?
No.
Oh.
It's a surprise. Oh, no. That's horrifying.
Well, I guess
I have decided the end of our next season.
I guess we'll let you know when that is.
Oh, no.
Well, our next season, I can tell you, we're going to start with Avengers versus Defenders.
Exciting.
Ooh.
So.
I believe we had to do some shenanigans to make this happen now.
No.
No?
I was just moving stuff around a little bit.
Could have sworn we had to move some stuff around to make it work.
What we were going to do originally was this season was going to end one episode later with the epilogue to the Dark Phoenix Saga, but I thought that it would just be better to end it on that.
Fair enough.
So we bounced it back one episode closer than it would have been.
Okay.
And also, today is my birthday.
Today... It's your birthday!
We didn't bring it up at all. John's birthday was yesterday.
Yes, we have our birthday
birthday
We brought
week.
it up in the Discord.
We
if you're on
did.
Discord,
It's
'cause we have a
our
Discord.
birthday.
I didn't really think that we needed to open with it because we did that last year.
Yes.
We don't need to do it every year.
It's our birthday.
Our birthday, comrade.
Our birthday.
Damn it, I don't have the fucking thing pulled up anymore. Anyway, that's going to be it for us today, and we look forward to joining you for a whole nother season next week. Really, it's made no difference for you.
2
It
weeks
makes a
from
difference
now.
for us. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. It's made no difference from you. It makes a difference to us, but not like,
Not a lot.
it doesn't really matter. But it's fun. I think it's
It's
fun.
an adventure.
I like the superlatives.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're going to be back from you 2 weeks from now, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye.